Okay, what's up, everyone? Sorry if you hear any background noise. People are mowing their lawns, children are out, so I don't know if you can hear them. I wasn't sure if I was going to go live because I have a few things I'm doing. I'm getting ready for something. And thank you, Went to Glow. This picture, when I saw this picture, I said, this is the perfect picture. My God. I do not like men who wear fronts like this and the whole urban look all the time. I'm really not into the the thug stuff or the thug look. And of course I've had some men call in. Y'all heard it one time trying to destroy a live saying, "Oh, y'all like thugs." You see them online still. They love thugs. I don't like no thug for a number of reasons. Now, I will do a separate live explaining why some do like thugs. There are legit reasons, the appeal to some black women. I will go through that. But there's really no benefit to dating them, really and truly. Most of the time, they end up in jail, and we all know the story of black men with jail records. Now, thugs can come in any color, any race, and all that. You know, with white women, their thugs is called bad boys. But people ignore that, where the bad boys is seen as more appealing and sexier for a number of reasons. And with black guys, they're called thugs and everything like that. It's okay for the women not black to like bad boys. Ooh, bad boy. But then when black girls like the so-called bad boy, it's a totally different thing. But there is no reason. Thank you, Art of Aries. Listen, any man that has a jail record, his chances of getting hired is slim. A lot of the black women murdered date men who have been to jail, who are thugs, who have bad tempers, they snap quick. A number of them have ended up dead, pissing him off, getting beat up badly. As a matter of fact, hold on really quick, y'all, because there is something I will be showing you in a future live. Okay, speaking of that. So for me personally, there's never really been a clear definition. There's never been a truly a clear definition of what is a thug. Because a lot of men of any race can go to jail, can sell drugs, can be an alcoholic, can do illegal things. And then there are the men who, you know, oh, they all like thugs, implying that the majority of black men must be thugs if the women don't have much else to choose from but men who go to jail and don't follow rules, who are hard-headed, quick-tempered, sometimes can't read, sag their pants, looking, like a rapper 24/7. So, and then you have the guys who are so-called thugs, like you said, Art of Aries. They'll say, well, thugs need love too. We need a down-ass chick to hold us down. We're better than the lames. They're soft. We're real men. We put them in their place and they love it. We lay it down in the bedroom. That's why we get this money. Well, what they say now with Cardi B, this money, shmoney or whatever. And it's been found out, which we already knew. I asked the question for number 3, do thugs have a look? Because trust me, there are guys who dress in suits, the so-called lames and all of that, who will beat you, who do illegal things, who act just as bad as a stereotypical thug. So I have these 3 questions because I think that word gets thrown around so much. Oh, black guys. Black men, especially, they're the ones who do it a lot. They're quick to call somebody a thug or a thug lover, and they never give a clear definition of what that is. It's like any guy that mistreats you or can't act right is automatically a thug. And some of those same men who don't dress like them, who don't act like them, are just as trifling. So we need to get to the bottom of what is the clear definition of what a thug is. Okay? Now I know personally, I know what a thug is. And I always get annoyed when there are men, let's just keep it real, black men who will come on my channel accusing me and other black women, oh, you just like thugs. I'm like, how do you know what I like? I like the opposite of that, actually. Like I said, I think Brian Gumble is very attractive. I don't like a so-called Steve Urkel, and I don't like a Future either. I'm not attracted to thug ghetto-ness and all that shit. I'm not attracted to that at large. And men with jail records, men who can't speak correctly, who act like a hood rat, that's not appealing to me. So that's the first question that I have up here is, what exactly is a thug? We're going to get down again to the clear definition of that. And I'm going to let black women finally speak, because people are always trying to talk for black women, saying we all black girls like and women like thugs. They like bad men. They like rowdy men, men who don't act right, with jail records, sag their pants, talk to them, call them out their name. You know, the rappers calling them a thought, a bitch, a hoe. Everything that's bad, that's what they like, so they claim, right? And the third question is, do thugs have a look? Can you truly look at a guy and determine that they're a thug? Personally, you can tell who's a hood rat sometimes. Now, I'm not saying that a man in a suit can't have a hood rat mentality, or a woman can have a hood rat mentality who's dressed nice. Okay? But sometimes you can tell just how they're dressing and how they speak. Or people will assume these things. Like I said, when I dress like a little hood rat urban girl, I remember the treatment that I got from men, which is completely different when I look like more of a lady, like the picture up here. It's sad, but it's true. Okay, women can get stereotyped too. So before I take these calls, I want to show you a picture, because I mentioned about, I brung up men who beat women. In the future, in a future upcoming live, I don't usually show this or let you know all the lives I'm going to do, but this has meant a lot to me. And speaking of men who beat and thugs and everything like that, I am going to do a video about escaping abuse. I'm giving you this heads up now. I know what abuse is. I've seen it. And I know the dangers that some women are in who are suffering from true abuse, real abuse. Abuse can be emotional abuse, mental abuse, and of course, physical abuse. And there are women in dire situations where they literally need to escape. So this is a future live, I'm putting it out there, that I'm going to do for women. I'm going to give some tips on what you can do to escape your abusive men who are literally beating the hell out of you. This is the face of many abused women that people just don't want to see. They hear about women getting beat. They don't actually see it The woman in the middle at the top, when I saw her, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. All of them, but especially the one at the top in the middle. Her eyes are literally closed shut. Her lips are swollen to God. I mean, her cheeks, she's unrecognizable. All of them, Jesus. This is the real deal. These are the faces of millions of women who get beat on a daily basis. All right, so, okay. So, what I'm going to do right now, the phone line is open. It should be. Let me make sure. Let me make sure. And, okay, the phone line should be open now. Mizzy Greasy, Miss Green, Measy Green says, all men aren't thugs. All men don't abuse their girlfriend, fiance, or wife. Some men are gangsters and thugs, and some men abuse women out here in our USA country. Believe it. Yes, facts. If a man makes you cry one time, run. Yeah, always pay attention to how they make you feel. If your man makes you feel like crap, he is not the one. Okay, so let me make sure. The phone line is open for anyone who wants to call in and answer these questions. Clear it up, black women, because you have a lot of black men on here who truly believe you don't want a decent man with a career who doesn't go to jail, who doesn't treat you like shit. They believe you just love men who treat you bad. And I bet you some of those same men who say this, well, a lot of them usually don't have a woman. So if they're so good, why can't they get one? Apparently, 20 million black women want bad men, according to them. Could it be that black women who refuse to swirl have a very low selection? And black men, as the most unemployed men, turn to illegal activity to make money? And they want to stick by their strong men, they say. So they settle. Then you have the black women from the hood who go to college, still have a hood mentality, and come back to her area, her neighborhood, and date what's available of the black men who did not do what she did. And then the cycle continues, and then she later gets put down for dealing with those same men from her area. Does she really win for being so-called loyal? I don't think so. So there's a number of reasons why. Now, while I'm waiting on the calls, I'm going to look through these comments. Let's see. Mizzy Green says, please pay attention to your surroundings and who you socialize with so you can stay out of trouble and violence in jail forever, aka. Okay, I got a call from Jacksonville, Florida.
Hello?
Hello. Hi, this is Cerebral.
Hi. It's so I'm a younger black woman. I'm 19, don't worry, I'm of age. And as a young black woman, I'm not interested in so-called guns at all. And like I've always been interested in all races of men, by the way. I've never cared. So I've seen handsome men of all races. So I understand. I do have some black friends who are girls, and they only like black men. I'm just like, they don't like it. Like I'm on TikTok, and a lot of black men. I'm also a darker skinned black woman too. Girl, these men are so colorist, but I don't even care. Like I don't care. When I see a black man and I'm walking, I literally try to avoid them and keep walking. But anyway, to answer the question, I'm not interested in thugs at all. But I'm gonna be honest. When I was a little younger, like 15, I like hood niggas who are in school. You know, not like the bummy ones, but the ones who are gonna go to college and they were about their stuff, yes. But I've never liked the bunny ones who sit around all day, smoke weed in their mama's house, don't do anything with their life. I've never liked them. And I'm also called them. But like when these type of men approach me, it's really disgusting in the way that their jeans be sagging. I'm just like, no, I'm okay. Like, and I also have some friends who are baby mamas.
1 second. Am I on speaker? Because it's kind of hard to hear you.
Yes. So,
and I have a question. Hello? You said when you were 15, your friends, yes, they like black guys, but did they like thug black guys?
No, like I have I lived all over the area. I live in the hood, and plus I live like in a nice area. I live in a nice area now because my dad's military, so I had to move a lot and stuff. So anyway, like when I'll say me when I was 15, I was interested like in a different type of hoodie because I do have my dad in my life. Like the ones who were in school, like the ones who were going somewhere in life. That's the type I like. But now I don't like any of them at all. Any type of hood guy. Quote unquote hood. And I still have friends who like, oh my gosh. Because like I said, I'm a younger black woman. You probably can hear my voice. About 19, like I said. Like they're just overrated. Like, why do you want a guy who has 5, 6 baby mamas? What's so attractive about it? I'm sorry. I'm ranty, but I just don't get it. Like why do you just want to be a baby mama? Our mortality rate is like 70%. It's really high. Like I don't understand. So like this might be TMI. That's the reason why I'm still a virgin though. By choice. Even though I'm 19.
I'm trying. Hold on. Slow down a little bit because I can't understand what you're saying. Okay.
Okay. Like I said, like I have some friends who are already baby mamas and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like me personally, as a younger black woman. Well, my mom was married to my dad. But, like, my point is, I wasn't, when I was born in Woodlock. And, like, I'm also a foreign black woman, too. Well, half. My dad's African, my mom's African-American. But anyway, so, like, just part of half my African culture, so I am half African. Part of the culture, we value marriage, so I do want to be married one day. And also, I'm half and half. Like, it's really sad, the black community in America, because that's where I'm from too. My mom's African American, like I said. Mm-hmm. The out of wedlock birth rate is really high, like 70%. And that does make sense because, like, growing up, I had, like, a lot of, like, black friends, and a lot of their dads was not around. It's just sad. Very sad. Like, how do you have this? It's just really sad. It's heartbreaking. And, like, when I'm on YouTube, I see black men, they always blame black men for everything. Black women, the reason why these men are lazy because they're wearing her makeup. All this nonsense. Like, shut up and get a job. Like, I'm tired of these dusties. Like, and I'm also a darker skinned black woman, too. Like, the way they drag us all the time is really disgusting. You clearly hate yourself. But anyway, like, to make my point is I don't like thug guys at all. And yes. I'm also 19. I think I already said that.
Yes. And give me one quick little second. Only Truth in the chat. I don't know if you're a man or a woman. You said, I don't know what other men are packing. I would hope you wouldn't know if you're a man. You said that it's the power of the BBC. I don't know. Listen, yes, there are black men who are very well endowed, but you're not all packing. Y'all are feeling yourself a little bit too much because there are other men.
Wait, you're talking about me?
No. In the chat, talking about the penis size. Unless you've gotten down with Men Not Black, you should not try to talk about what's between their legs. I think that's the only thing some of you have that you think you have above other men. Well, I might be broke. I might have all these different baby mamas, but guess what? I got a big old penis. How do you know that Jose don't have a big one? Or Hamed? Or, Hakeem? How do you know this? Like, you really need to stop. Because some of them got bigger ones than y'all, so stop it. And they actually make love to women and do all types of stuff that some of you are not even known for. Okay, so let me ask you this. Do thugs have a look to you?
Wait, do I have a certain look to me?
Do thugs have a certain look to you? Like, could you spot a thug?
Yeah, I said in the chat, like, they just walk a certain way and, like, they talk to a certain way, like, what's up, Mom? Like, they just use certain. okay, a lot of black people that quote unquote talk white, which makes no sense. Maybe like they just talk a certain way and they act a certain way. I've also met, since I'm in college, I don't know if I already said this, I've also met like a lot of hood guys who are in school and stuff. And like, yeah, so they do like the way they dress, and usually they be wearing designer, but you living with your baby mama, you don't got a car, but you got all this so quote unquote drip, but you don't even have any money. Like, what? But yeah, and also I seen that in the chat too. I responded to that person, and I didn't even know that was a man or woman. And he said, "Oh, black women love BBC." I think I said, "Nobody wants that BBC." I said, first of all, I said BBC is a myth because it is. All of them are not packing. That's a lie. Second of all, nobody wants that BBC that's been passed around like a blunt. No, I don't want it. And it probably has STDs because most black men have HIV, the highest rates. Something like that. Okay. And like I also heard from my friends that black men don't like condoms or something. Sorry if I'm saying too much, but like I'm saying nobody wants that. It's disgusting. It's been passed around, and like it's just nasty. But yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna keep being in the chat because I'm studying right now for my finals. Like I said, I'm in school, but I'm still listening to you. Okay. So yeah, hopefully I answered your question.
Yes, you did good, yeah. And thank you so much. All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye. I don't know if I should just do a whole live about this BBC thing because I think it's absolutely ridiculous. My first interracial relationship was with an Asian man, and believe me, he would not have been with me if certain things weren't right. And that's all I'm going to say because I don't talk about stuff like that on here. I will just say I don't know why some people, I find that a lot of black women who talk about other men's penises, they've never even had one. They don't watch pornography. They don't have friends who swirl. So where are you getting this information that they are not packing or can't lay it down or can't make love to you? It's ridiculous. And hello from Minnesota. Not only that, but is that BBC paying those bills? Is it buying those Pampers? Is it taking you shopping? Is it investing for you? Is it doing anything? And half of y'all don't even get an orgasm. Let's keep it real with that. Hello from Minnesota. You ask most of these black women, have you had a true orgasm with these thugs and these BBC black men? I guarantee you most of them haven't. They haven't even experienced intimacy. They ain't never know what making love is. They ain't never have them kiss on their back slowly, rub their feet, do much more. I don't have to say. Please, just because they can do a DMX up on you from belly don't mean that ain't enough. Don't get me wrong. I know getting it laid down can make you go fool and stuff, but these days you need to bring more than that, okay? Hey, from Rochester, New York.
Hi, it's me, pretty brown girl, Ari.
Hey, pretty brown girl, Ari.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Can I talk about the BBC thing?
Yes.
Even though I'm young.
Okay, go ahead.
So, if I'm a young girl, but like a lot of teenagers have watched porn and stuff, and I'm one of those teenagers, and like I do not like how black men look down there, and not all black men have big penises. I've seen white guys with bigger ones, and there are white. The most one of those guys is white. They need to stop with that BBC thing.
Why do you think they are so obsessed with always talking about their penis? Like, they don't talk about anything else they can bring but that.
There are guys with bigger penises than them.
But why do you think they're so obsessed with constantly bringing up the BBC?
Because I don't even know. But they think that because other black men have big penises, they think that because they have I don't know how to say it because they let's just say that they probably watch 22 black men with big penises and think that they're better and stuff.
Now, I'm not gonna sit up here and front and lie and say that a nice one don't matter. But what about paying bills, taking care of your family? I mean, that matters a hell of a lot too.
But someone just said next caller. I'm not taking for a black man. I'm trying to say that
I can't really hear you.
there may be some black men that are tacky, but not all of them do. There are white guys with bigger penises and Hispanic men.
Now, for you, what is it that matters to you? Is it just a nice a nice you know what, or what else do you think a man needs to bring besides being able to hit it right? What else does he need to bring?
He needs to treat me well. He needs to be. Well, I would like a guy that's financially stable.
I can't hear you. It's very low. Am I on speaker?
Sorry. I would like a guy that's financially stable and a guy that will treat me well and a guy that's good looking. Like, I do like big penises. I don't like the BBC though, but I like white guys and Hispanic guys with big penises. But yeah.
Okay. So tell us, what exactly is a thug to you?
A thug to me is a guy that's like violent, is rude. They're basically the same as bad boys, but they're much worse. They're like a black version of bad boys.
Do they usually have jail records?
I think so.
All right. So do you like thugs? Do they appeal to you?
No, I used to like bad boys, but not like thugs. I don't want no longer like that.
So what's a bad boy?
A guy that just acts out, like dresses up in leather jackets and like has a well, most bad boys do have criminal records, and I don't really know the definition. They just have like swag, and I like say swag.
And you know, a lot of black men hate the word swag. When I think of swag, I just think it means a man who exudes confidence. A man, he walks with confidence. He approaches women. He has flavor to him. He can converse with anyone. He's just a confident man. That's what I think swag means. I'm not sure if that's what it means, but that's what I think it means. You know, he got that flavor. He's confident, you know. That doesn't mean he's a good man, but it's just he exudes confidence. Am I right? Is that what it means to you?
Yeah.
Do thugs have a look to you?
I think so. Like they just more edgy.
I think of a thug. I think of sagging pants, fronts in their mouth, tattoos everywhere, fitted caps all the time. No offense to the man, I know you're watching, but they have that rapper look 24/7. Like they cannot switch it up. Their whole look is like a rapper. And the sagging pants is like, I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of different men do it now because they've been influenced by black men, but there's a little bit of a hardcore look to them. It doesn't always mean that they are, but I don't think very educated men will be walking around with looking like a rapper with their pants sagging. So,
yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to take the next call. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know what's going on with this volume. Like I'm not loud enough. Okay. Let me hold on. I'm gonna make a phone call. Someone call that I missed. Hi, this is Cerebral.
Hi.
Hello.
I don't know what happened.
Um,
I think you got.
go ahead.
I think your phone disconnected, but are you still like doing the show right now?
Yes, you are live right now.
Okay. So
Oh,
I wanted to call to answer that question. But I wanted to say that I'm sure most Black women, or hopefully a lot of us, realize that that's just a deflection. Because they can't argue against the legitimate points that we make regarding their behavior and how they treat Black women. And I remember this guy used that same deflection on me when we were addressing the issue. And, he went on to say, well, that's the guys you choose. You guys keep choosing thugs. But then, as I kind of debunked all of his deflections, he revealed his true colors, that he was, in fact, the same thug that they claim we all want. Because when I debunked all of his points, he went on to say things like, I think the thing that stood out the most was he said, man, I wish I could get you alone so that I can see how much mouth you really have. And
really?
see if you can stand the pressure. Yeah, so I'm like, you seriously want to like fight me?
Are you serious?
You cannot. Yeah. He was literally hoping, like he was wishing for the opportunity to get me in a room alone to see if I would still say the things that I was saying.
He could have just meant getting you alone to have sex with you too, though.
Yeah. And then what else he said? He asked where I live, and he was trying to get personal information from me. And so my response was just, why would I give a thug my information? Like, they beat Black women over the head with you said you wanted a thug, but then if you expose them for who they are, their true colors come out, that they are in fact the thugs that they claim to want. And so I would say I am definitely not attracted to thugs. And I guess, honestly, I intentionally try to avoid Black men altogether. Where I live, I don't see them that much anyway. So I just avoid them regardless. But I would say for me, one of the things that can, I guess, the look that I believe that thugs might have would be like, or red flag for me is like sagging pants. Sagging pants, I guess blasting their older rap music, like maybe you come to a stop sign or a stoplight, there's a ton of cars around and they're just blasting their music, like shaking everybody's car. For me, that's a sign that you don't have any concern for others and how certain things you do might affect them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
But,
go
ahead.
Black men have stereotyped us for years that we like thugs. Has that affected you in any way? Has that upset you?
Years ago, before I came across your content and the content of other Black women who are creating counter narratives, before it used to affect me. And I never knew how to respond to that. So it's more like a silencing tactic in a way. Like, if you don't understand, all of their deflections or what they'll use against you, it does a really good job of silencing you.
Okay.
So it doesn't affect me now because, I'm not focused on just specifically dating Black men. Um, yeah, so it doesn't really affect me, but every time that's thrown out, I just kind of.
So you don't believe it's true that they say that majority of American black women like thugs, like they say?
I don't think, honestly, I don't think the majority do, but I think, there's a good number of black women that do, honestly. Because I've come across things where I see women, saying things like, I just want somebody that could curse me out and then handle me a certain way in the bed, which is really like abusive porn sex. And unfortunately, a good amount do.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Is it because that's mostly what's available to them? The one?
Yes. I believe. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I believe one, it's because that's what's mostly available, but also, I was reading this book and it talked about how the thug image was promoted to black women to based on the condition of the men. So where at one point dealing with certain type of men was unacceptable, dealing with men who had no money was unacceptable at a certain point in history. But then, as black men, I guess, embraced their failures and became violent and expressed their disdain for women, and they just became men who are not productive and broke, I'll say.
Okay.
The black community kind of took that and promoted it so that the men could have an available market available to them.
I don't know what woman in her right mind wants a man who don't have no job, no money, a jail record. They always bitching and complaining. The white man won't give me a job because I got a jail record. Okay, then. So why would I fuck with you and you have a jail record? I have to ask women this. Like, what's wrong with them? Okay, and let me ask you this. I didn't mean to interrupt, but David Jones in the chat says that men who behave like Russell Wilson, Sierra's husband, are labeled as weak and passive. I always considered Russell to be a regular guy. Like, he's just a normal guy. He's not nerdy. He's not thuggish. He's just a regular guy. He plays football. He's built. He has, he can take care of her. I don't get it. I just don't get it why he would be seen that way. He's just a regular man. What's your opinion about Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson is my type.
Okay.
He's my type, definitely. But I feel like I found that the only people that are mostly calling Russell Wilson soft and all this stuff are men. Are black men, by the way. Just black men.
Are they jealous of him?
I believe they are. And I believe, one, they hate Sierra because she defied the stereotype that they're throwing out that, single mothers, nobody wants single mothers can't get high value men, blah, 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 blah. So Sierra goes, if she finds a man of value that's the complete opposite of Future, who represents most of black men, and that's why they gravitate more towards Future. And Russell Wilson represents black men who are more like Future being left behind. Russell Wilson represents black women choosing better and not being ashamed about it. So the men who are failing to live out the universal standards of manhood, those are the men who are coming down on Russell Wilson because they can't measure up.
It's just so crazy, the hatred. I mean, and they really hate that he took. I see so many white women who are celebrities who had kids with their first husbands or a divorce or whatever, but they really hate that he is taking care of her son. Like they think it's a shame that, he would dare be a stepfather, but black women are stepmothers to their children with different women all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't really have a problem with single mothers because they will date a white woman with a child in a heartbeat. And then they'll show her off like a prize, because women are the prize, but they'll show her off with pride even though she has a child from a previous relationship. So it's not about single motherhood. It's about them shaming black women. And the fact that they are the ones creating single mothers and at the same time saying don't deal with single mothers is ridiculous.
I find it funny, David, in the chat, that anyone would see Russell as weak. That man is built as a hell. He's a football player. He can whoop people's asses. So that's just funny to me, Okay, so.
I don't take black men serious anymore. And once you realize who they are, their mentality, and their history of what they were doing over in Africa and how they sold out their people and they were kidnapping and sex trafficking black women, I think if most black women understood the black man's history and who they are and how they're behaving now, more black women would be divested. And that's why I'm thankful for your channel.
Thank you.
And the others like yours.
Thank you so much. Shout out to all the other women content creators. It's a growing number. More and more are coming out who are not afraid, So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for actually calling me back. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
All right. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, the hatred, y'all, that Russell Wilson gets is amazing. Amazing. It's like they just wanted Sierra to stay down and suffer. And she's not even problematic. Sierra is sort of, it's crazy to me how she gets treated. Black and Bougie. Hello?
Hey, sis, how are you?
Hey, I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Hi, ladies.
She said hi to everybody in the chat, the ladies. Okay, so today's topic is, the infamous Black women love thugs. I need Black women to clear this shit up because I'm tired of that stereotype. So, how do you feel about this?
1 second, sis.
Okay.
Okay, real quick. The same Black women who, quote unquote, they say that like love thugs and stuff. Okay, remember a few years ago when Slim Thug got on this radio station? See, Black men love making fun of Black. It's like they, in Black men's mind, you're not worthy of leveling up, having a better life. So once a baby mama, always a baby mama. It's like I don't give a damn about my baby mama. I don't respect my baby mama. So why the hell, are you, simps respecting, baby mama? To them, Russell Wilson is a simp. To them, Sierra, they don't give a damn that Sierra is what is she, a cover girl, a Maybelline girl? They don't give a damn that Sierra is a model. They don't give a damn that she's one of the best dancers in the industry, that she's beautiful, she's fit. None of that matters. All that matters is that she left, Future, their fellow thug brother, their breeder, their baby maker, their bastard maker, all they care about is that she left him for a guy who's nothing like them. See, to you and I, Russell's a regular guy, but to them, he's someone that they would bully in school, and then when he beat their ass, they're gonna come back and try to get a gun and do something to him. Because they're salty that, it's like, okay, he's a big guy, he's an NFL player, but to them, he's just not, he's not wretched enough. He doesn't exude this type of degeneracy that they exude. So it's like, because some stuff was like, in my opinion, so I just think you're like street guy, and I just think that,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but someone said something in the chat. I would like your opinion before it moves too quickly. Only Truth,
okay, go ahead.
Only Truth says taking care of another man's kids goes against the laws of nature. Do you have anything you want to say?
That's appalling. But here's the deal. I'm sure he's a black male. That's the thing. Black males do not believe in uplifting or building anything or moving the future forward. Like, black men do not even look at black children as part of them. They don't give a damn. Like, when I see black children, like if I see a black child in the store that's lost, or, he looks like he can't find his mother, immediately I'm going to be like, hey, sweetie, where's mommy? Like, are you okay? A black man will walk right past that child. When in the morning, in the winter time, when I see black children walk into school, I tell them, like, hey, I know you guys aren't supposed to accept rights from strangers, but it's really chilly, you guys hop in, or go up there and ask your mom, can I take you to school? I'm taking my son, because black women, we have more of a sense of community. Black men don't look at black children like their own. That's why they think that it's trash taking care of another man's child, because they don't have the foresight to see, like, okay, if I be there for this young man, I could possibly save him from a life in the streets. I could possibly save him from growing up being insecure without a father. I could possibly, turn him into a confident young man. They don't feel that way about black children. Black men do not give a flying fuck about black children or women at all. That's why they think it's stupid. That's why they think that Russell Wilson is a simp, because in their minds, they would have, hit it and quit it. They would have left Sierra by the wayside, and, they would have never been there for Little Future. They are disgusted by the fact that, Little Future, just because his father left him, that he still has another father. You think for one second that Little Future doesn't call Russell's dad? That is his dad. That is his father. Future just donated his sperm to give Sierra and Russell, their first child. I'm sorry.
Now,
Future is not Little Future's father at all.
Only truth. I understand that, usually you picture having your husband and, he raises them, but there are a lot of you black men. What are we, if you have a child with a black woman, she's supposed to stay single for the rest of her life. I don't see y'all criticizing, you don't criticize these white women that you praise and non-black women who have men who are stepfathers. You don't criticize that, but now it's a black woman. Listen, it didn't work out with her in Future, so what is Sierra supposed to do? Stay single for the rest of her life? Not only...
Absolutely, she was supposed to stay single for the rest of her life. She was supposed to be an industry jump-off. She was supposed to get ran through so that black men can make fun of her. So since that's not happening, they're pissed because, Sierra basically rode off into the sunset on Future and the rest of these thugs who, wanted her. Because it's like, damn, why I ain't get to hit it and quit it? Why I couldn't jump and pull? Damn, now she was that lame. Oh, ass nigga. They're pissed that she didn't join the club of baby mamas who are, being industry jump-offs. They cannot stand black women and children, for one, and they damn sure cannot stand when black women and children, find a life outside of them, escape lack of sin, and they find a sense of peace, outside of the welfare line. They don't like it. It makes them mad. That's why Slim said what he said, because in his mind, he's like, come on, if you like Future, there are some black women who kind of like, it's like, okay, I don't fuck with thugs anymore. It's not, it's counterproductive to fuck with thugs, so I'm gonna fuck with good guys now. And when we escape that mentality, it bothers them because it's like, oh, who the hell do you think you are? I ain't raising no other niggas' kids. Well, guess what? Some men will help me raise my children. You're not the only guy. And if I was white, you'd raise my white children or my half-breeds because that's what you do. You hate black children. You don't hate white and mixed children. You hate black children.
And let me add this to Only Truth. I find it amazing you would say that, but yet so many of you black men make kids with different women, but yet you expect us to just gladly date you and we don't criticize it. So it's not okay for Sierra to have a stepfather, but yet y'all make multiple kids with different women and you expect us black women to be stepmothers to those kids. If the shoe was on the other foot, you don't got no problem with that. Maybe some of us don't.
To them, they look at us like we don't this is the thing. When black women finally realize that they don't see value in us, then we will understand, and it will make it easier for us to walk away. We're not walking away because we have hope. We think that they see value in us when they don't. The thing is a black man will talk shit about a woman if she has like 3 kids by 3 different men, 4 by 4, 5 by 5, or whatever. But when he gets with a woman, he can bring all 4 or 5 of his children by 4 or 5 different women over there, and she'll find herself, turning into a stepmother. Do you guys watch Coach Sean?
Mm-mm.
She's this wonderful Christian advice dating channel, and she gets letters all the time from black women who have completely and utterly ruined their lives from helping black men take care of children that aren't even theirs.
Did you?
And she tells them, like, what are you doing? Walk away.
Did you know, and I found this out, that if you marry a black man who owes child support and he doesn't pay the child support, if you're his official wife, in some cases you're gonna have to pay the child support for them kids that he didn't pay for.
Oh yeah, that's why me and my ex, we only had a ceremony. I didn't legally marry him. We had a fabulous ceremony up on a farm up north, but because we were together for about 6 months, and he showed me his child support papers, and he was working. I mean, he was doing other things. He wasn't broke at all, but he did not, have a legitimate job. And I've seen the child support papers, and I said, so they're expecting you to pay this per month. And it's like he wanted me to be like, oh, that's wrong or whatever. I said, well, they're your kids. Like, that's what you get. And I'm like, well, I'm not trying to be funny. I would love to have a beautiful ceremony with you, but I'm not legally marrying you. Because once once you fall short, I can't take care of your children. She's not going to be garnishing my wages.
Yeah.
I can't let that happen.
I said, hell no. When I heard about that.
Yeah, when your husband falls short, they'll take your damn check.
I said, oh, hell no. You think? Hell no to that. Hell no.
So ladies, just remember, don't marry a man who owes child support. And not only that, make sure first, and don't ever listen to him about all of this shit. Oh, she trying to take all my money. But how men say stupid shit like, I'm trying to take care of my kids. I ain't paying your bills. What do you mean? Your children need light, water, rent, and gas and electric. Nobody told you to leave her. It's your fault. Okay, so now you have to pay her bills. So what? Don't your children need lights, food, water, and rent? See, this is what I bet you won't do. And this is these black men, they're always complaining about shit that they're not willing to do anything about. The main men that complain about this, they don't have an apartment. They never ever say, oh, well, I'm going to go get custody of my kids because I'm tired of giving this bitch money. Like, they won't say that because they don't want their children. They just don't feel like taking care of them. And they don't feel that women like Sierra deserve to have a man on her arm. Just look at Future, how many children he's made after Sierra. Do you realize how unhappy and miserable he is? Keep in mind, all of his baby mamas are pretty. He said the one dark-skinned, skinny one, oh, you ugly. I wish I never had a baby. Like, come on, Future, you look like a fucking praying mantis, buddy. She's not ugly. She's not ugly. She just doesn't fit the aesthetic.
He was screwing her. He must have liked her. He had all these options. Yet he decided to screw her.
He's just mad because now he has to, pay more. This is the thing. If Future does not keep making hits, that man is going to be sleeping on a sidewalk. I mean, what is he on? Number 7?
My God.
Does he even have multiples by one? At the very least, does he even have 2 by 1? Like, no, he doesn't. And he's low value. I don't care how much money he has. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're a jump off and you're just trying to get a bag, okay, go ahead and have a baby by Future. But what you need to know is you better get in there in that trio and hope he doesn't fall off the rap game. Because, these rappers, they come and go.
Yes.
They're hot one minute, the next minute they're cold, and next minute they're sitting somewhere like Fetty Wap, broke as hell, and they don't have anything. Because they haven't had a hit. So, ladies, protect your precious plot.
Now, David in the chat said this, and I want your opinion. He says, oh, hold on. Where is it at? He said David said black women are the main ones who are voting for anti-family policies that allow men. He's that allow men not to be involved outside of child support. I have never heard of this. All I hear is them complaining that the men are not even coming around.
Exactly. Do you hear this victim mentality? And one thing I want, if you're ever, sitting on the fence about divesting, this is what I want a fence straddler to understand. These men will never, ever, and I mean ever, take responsibility for anything that they've created. Last week when I was on the phone with you, what did I tell you, Cerebral, and the other ladies? Black women in the 60s and 50s chose welfare over black men because it was guaranteed money and it was more consistent than your black ass. She literally said, "I will take a $300 or $400 check and put you out before I continue to let you be in here." Well, what does he mean, anti-family practices? A real man would have been like, baby, you're not getting no child support, no Section 8. I'll take care of you. Stop going to the quote-unquote oppressor for housing, food, and medical care. No, they don't do that. They don't do that because they're not capable of doing that. Black men need to come, to the realization, like, look, I am weak. I'm not capable of doing anything. I don't have anything. Not only do I not have money, I don't have the mentality, the maturity, the ambition, or the mental fortitude to, compete in this society. I just don't know how to do anything. And we'll accept it. But until they say that, black women are going to keep hanging on. Because they're like that Shahrazad Ali woman, like, "Oh, you is the best. You is the best, man. Strong, you're beautiful, you got a big dick." Like, no, you're just broke and you're just nobody. And black women are catching on. And it's okay.
You know what? I'm going to ask these women. I don't know. I want to say, besides if he does have a nice size one, what else can he do besides blow the back out? Does he caress you? Does he kiss all over you? Does he do much more foreplay? Does he rub your feet? Does he caress you? Does he write you romantic notes, whisper in your ear, suck on your neck? I mean, besides the fact that, okay, he's packing down there, I wonder, do most black women even know what real intimacy is? Have they even experienced it? You know, and what else can they say besides a penis, or these men coming up on here talking about the BBC? It's like, honey, you need more than that, okay?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I've never had, because a lot of thugs are good at having sex because, I'm sure you all have heard of the term homosexual. You have to perfect an art, because if it's all you have, a homosexual is going to, look for a place to stay. So, he has to put it down. He has to do all of the, all of the things that he needs to do, or he's, he has to impress you in the sex game, because a lot of black women are lost, when it comes to that. Like, we'll get our emotions caught up in somebody because he blew our back out. So it's like, oh yeah, he's gonna stay here this day. Next thing you know, this fucker is living with you and he's on your son's PlayStation more than you.
Yes.
But you brought it on yourself because he's playing the BBC. It probably came with a little bit of chlamydia, a little bit of syphilis on the side, and now you're fucked. I'm not saying that that thugs don't know how to quote unquote make love, but I've had I've had like a 2 or 3 guys that I know of who are not thugs, and I'm not even necessarily saying they're quote unquote educated lames. One of them just knew how to fix cars really good, and he sold cars for a living. He didn't go to college. He wasn't quote unquote educated, but he knew how to. He had many talents. He was one of those men where I'd be like, "Oh, can you fix the sink? Sure. Hey, can you measure this window? Can you put the carpet down? Sure. Hey." He was one of those kind of guys, and he really knew how to make love. And he wasn't doing it, to live with me. He just was doing it because he's a good sex partner. He's a caring person. Like, he genuinely, gave a damn about me.
Yes. Let me address someone. Zen Master, I don't know if you're talking about black women or black men. You said we are sellouts. Then you said um, you were not rounded up by the thousands and put into prisons for decades. You benefited from it. You turncoats. Now you want it easy. Well, whose fault is it that you got rounded up? Because last time I checked, black African men was selling your black men and women ancestors off. If y'all got into prisons, well, that's because y'all commit crimes. Go be with massa. Okay, I'm fine with that. Y'all love
I
being
mean,
with
and
ma.
that's like, and you hear the victim mentality. None of them ever say, like, oh, well, this is what I'm doing to combat this. This is, and then look at what he said, oh, y'all want it easy. What race of man on this planet doesn't make life comfortable for his woman? Only black men expect women to fight, break our nails, get our knees scuffed up, and go into battlefield with them. No other man expects this but black men. So all this, oh, you're masculine and all that shit. I mean, I'm masculine because you're feminine. You literally just said that I don't deserve to have an easy life. What the fuck I look like taping for you? Fuck you.
I feel like shit. It's been over 500 years. How much longer black women got to wait? I mean, do you even have
That's
a
what I'm
do you even
saying.
have a plan? The answer is no.
No, they don't. This is the thing. If you ask them, do they have a plan? They'll be like, well, y'all could just stick by our side.
Shit.
Like, oh, hell
I ain't being dragged down.
Please, you're conquered. You're gonna get me killed.
Black women do not have to be dragged down. Black women don't want to be dragged down no more with you. I mean, you ain't doing nothing.
Don't.
I understand those that want to keep hope alive. I don't feel like it no more. I hope the best that things get better, but please. And it's funny how you bring up massa, but you black men sure love massa's mama and sisters. So please shut up. So,
And not only that, they love his daughters and they love what he can offer. The thing is, this is the thing, if you truly cared about black women, you would have never, ever complained about what Goldman Sachs was doing for black women. First of all, I mean, let's be honest, most black women are mammies. So say for instance, a black woman, a small business owner, benefits from that money, she's going to give some of that money to Tyrone. Because that's what the fuck black women do. We feel sorry for them. So why are you getting mad talking about, oh, y'all causing all this division in the black community? Oh, y'all, what about black men? Like, what about you?
well, they already wrote me and said, we're going to get the money anyway. So they know, like what you just said.
Are you serious? Do you see what I'm saying? Are you serious?
Oh my God! And you should see.
See what I'm saying? The arrogance, the sheer arrogance. Do you know my ex-husband? He helps me pay my bills to this very day. And if I was to ever benefit from that money, I would not give him a dime of it. What? Here's the thing: black women, we coddle them because we feel like You guys ever watch slave movies? And like, if there's a black man and he's ready to rebel, and he'll be like, "Mama, it's going down tonight. I'm going down and kick Master's ass." And what Mama say? "No, boy, you gonna get killed, boy."
Oh my God!
Boy,
yes.
You better not do that. Mama needs you.
They say. They say that's where it comes. They say that's where the coddling comes from. When the slave women were scared their sons was going to get lynched or something, so they treated them like a little baby, And let me say this only true. I don't care how many black men get with white women. I don't really give a damn. I'm just making a point that stop talking about us with white men and y'all are dating white women 3 times the rate. Y'all just can really shut the fuck up with that. Okay, so
what did Dr. Umar say? They said that love is blind. Now let's be honest. I don't fuck with Dr. Umar anymore. I gave up on him just like I did the rest of the niggers. But what did he say? He said they say that love is blind. Well, how is the black man's love so much blinder than the black woman that he dates outside of his race disproportionately more than she does? Let's be honest, black man. You are in love with your captors. And we understand that because you know why? Because he feeds you, he clothes you, he bathes you, he gives you everything that you need to survive. And it disgusts you and it pisses you off, and you're jealous when black women get a piece of the pie.
Yeah, it's
You
weird.
have not gained any type of independence. You have not gained any type of liberation. That's why you bring up abortion. Okay, so this nigger just said something about abortion. First of all, let's be honest. This planet is, majority people of color, and I don't do that people of color shit. I'm more so into, I care about black women as a whole. But let's be honest, majority of this planet is populated with black people. Do I agree with abortions? No. But okay, black women aborting black children. Go to any abortion clinic and ask a black woman, why are you getting an abortion today, ma'am? What is the first thing she'll say? I can't afford no more kids, and he left. That's the first thing. Black women would be having kids like rabbits if black men weren't leaving them. Because that's what we do. We don't care. We don't care. I have 4 children.
Oh my God.
I can't say that I wouldn't have had 6 more if I could. But I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid.
You know, I want to have 4 to 5 kids. I don't have any now, but that's like
Baby, as long as it ain't Derek and Tyrone, you go ahead and get it done. And the thing is, you're not super cerebral. You're going to make sure that whoever you're with is a provider. And then guess what? If or when he leaves, all you got to do is take him to the cleaners. You and your children are going to be just fine.
Girl.
You and your children are going to be just fine. And then they're talking about, and what's the point? And I'm not a eugenicist. I don't believe in genocide and all. My number one concern is black women and black children. I love the hell out of black women and black children. But what is the point of us getting mad about abortion when so many of us are living in poverty? You know what I mean? Like, what is the point of just look at any old documentary from, the 50s and 60s and 70s. You can look at Tupac's old movie, all the poverty in Baltimore and, in Chicago, in Philadelphia. What is the point of bringing all those children in this madness, in this bullshit? There are black women who have gotten abortions, and to this day, they're like, you know what? I wish I wouldn't have done it. But it was for the best. God damn it. I got my motherfucking MBA. I got a doctorate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I freed myself from that bullshit. Fuck that. Black women are not stupid. We're just lost.
I don't think I could live. I wouldn't forgive myself if I were to do it. I don't judge completely. Like, I know if a woman gets raped, I don't know. The idea of having my rapist baby would trip me out. I just think we need to just, the black women, you're going to have to either not have sex, or if you do have sex, get on birth control and use condoms so you will never be in that situation, and vet these men very carefully about who you're with.
Absolutely, because I do not believe because I believe that a life is a life. And I just don't think that as black women or any, race of women, we get, you don't get to say, oh, well, I wish I would have never did this. Now this being, this human being needs to go, by any means necessary. It's just wrong. Abortion is barbaric, in my opinion. But, it's almost a necessary evil because, think about, women that have been raped and stuff. You don't want to carry a rapist's baby. You don't want to, when you want somebody out of your life and you just want to be done with it, you don't want to look down at your belly and seeing that, you're carrying the child of a man that betrayed you, things like that. Raise your sons and I won't call the cops. That's how I feel. I'm pro-life, but I sympathize with black women. Exactly. I don't believe in abortions, but this is the thing. Nobody in the world gives a damn about us. Everybody hates us. So I have a strong sympathy and empathy for my sisters. So a black woman that's got an abortion, hey, I don't agree with it, but I love you and I respect you, sister. You did what was best.
You know, the thing that's just weird to me is that when black men go on about it, I'm like, but y'all are the number one ones who don't raise your kids. So it's sort of weird. Like, you're gonna leave the woman, half of you don't raise the kids. And I'm not saying I agree with the abortion, but then you're yelling at black women for the abortions, but yet y'all are the number one ones who don't even take care of the kids. And if they have the kids, all you're gonna do is drag them for filth anyway. Still, so either way,
they're complaining about children that they don't want. But again, Cerebral, this is they're complaining about children that they don't want because they have to make up a reason to say that this is all your fault. Black men will never, again, they don't take accountability. So they have to say, well, you joined the feminist movement, you got a bullshit. Please, you haven't even seen your 10-year-old in 7 years. You don't care about that. You don't care about black children.
And let me tell you,
Get the fuck out of here.
David just said in the chat, black women don't raise their kids either. The system does.
You know what? Here's the deal. Guess what you're not going to do. You're not going to guilt me into talking shit about black women. Here's the thing. Women deserve and women use resources because they have to raise families and take care of other human beings. So when I'm raising a family and taking care of several other human beings, I deserve resources to take care of those human beings. So if I decide that I need to go to the government, to do a job that you refuse to do, to do a job that you don't think that you should have to do, for you to skip out on your obligations, because what did Eddie Griffin say? Oh, responsibility, gotta go. I ain't man enough, gotta go. When I decide to, go to your oppressor for resources, it's your fault. You're not going to guilt me. I was on Section 8 in welfare for like 15 years. And now that I'm out of it, I've been on Section 8 in welfare for like 7 years. I don't feel bad. I don't feel ashamed. I don't feel guilty or anything. Because the very person that you ate, the very person that you say is keeping you down, brought me and my children out of poverty.
I said in a different video, thank you, Zaddy, for helping me. I had food stamps for.
Thank you, Zaddy. Getting mama, getting mama, because getting mama and her 4 babies off of Section 8. You know what I did with my Section 8 house? I rented to own it. I rented it to own it, and then I sold it. Now I rent it to someone else. Now I am a landlord. So thank you, White Daddy, because you know what? A black man could, I've never had a job. A black man has never hired me because black women can't go to black men for jobs. You can't. You could never go to a black man and say, hey, are you hiring? Hiring for what? He doesn't own anything. White men have literally lifted black women out of poverty. Another documentary I think, they were talking about the welfare program in the 80s. And they went to all these different women's houses. It was like 3 black women, a white woman, and a Mexican woman. Do you know that they went to the welfare to work program? This is when Bill Clinton was in office. And every single last one of them, and I loved it because they were so motivated. They were so ready to change their lives. They were like, I'm so happy I'm in this program. Even though I'm embarrassed that I'm on welfare, I'm so happy that, that I'm able to, make a life for me and my family. Do you know 5 of those women turned into construction workers and started making $15 an hour? The black men did not do that.
Let me tell you.
There are literally welfare programs who you get on welfare. Next thing you know, you're a fucking receptionist at the water company, and you're making $17 an hour. Don't get me wrong, that's not a lot to other people, but for some black women, that is heaven. That is a heaven that black men will never, ever be able to provide. They've never provided it, and they're not going to start. White males are hating black women. And years ago, I would have never said that, but they are. The white power structure literally lifts black women out of poverty. They take black women who are getting checks every month. They take black women who are living on Section 8. They give them home ownership program. Next thing you know, the requirements are such a bare minimum that you can literally go down there and say, hey, yeah, I'm poor. I make $10 an hour. I don't have anything. And they'll be like, you know what? Let's save up $500 and we'll get you in a home ownership program.
Listen, let me tell you. I was raised, my mom was on welfare. This was in New York. We didn't even know we were on welfare because everybody was on welfare at that time. That's back when you had those big old bills before the card came out. And my mom never made us feel poor. My dad, he made good money, so he would always give us stuff, but they separated. So we ate good food. We lived well, even though we didn't know we was broke. We didn't. We just didn't. It didn't seem that way. And my mom said, you know what? She thought about us. She said, I can't be on welfare forever. So there was, I think, this black guy or black woman. I can't remember, but they tried to make it hard for her. But someone had a heart and said, I see what you're doing. My mom said she got in school, nursing school. And she was able to stay on welfare while she was in nursing school. And as soon as she got her license, she got off welfare. She was making good money. And then she moved us. Nobody thought she would ever leave the city. Nobody thought she would leave my father. I love my dad, but he wasn't acting right for a while. And they were together for a long time. She left and she changed our life. And she changed her life. Even though she was on welfare, as many black women, she didn't want to just be on welfare forever. Ever. She wanted to do something with her life, and she did. And she made good money as a nurse and got off welfare. But if it wasn't for welfare, our life could have been very hard. And so I just find all these black men making videos trying to shame black women. It's like, if y'all care so much, then why don't you change it then? If you're so concerned, they're making videos about Goldman Sachs saying, oh, this is going to destroy things. Oh, this is a plot. I'm like, if you're so concerned about the white man as usual trumping you, and if you care about black family, then why don't we see you actually fixing that then? you know?
Sorry, well, that story about your mom, after I get off this call, and I'm not trying to dictate your show, but I want black women to call in with stories like that, because that is the story of so many black women's lives. Like, first of all, it's like your mom is my mom, because that's exactly what happened with my mother, and that's exactly what happened with me.
Okay.
You get in the welfare to work program. This is the thing. This is what the so-called oppressors do. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure they're probably tired of the quote-unquote welfare mom, leeching off their society or whatever. But hey, at least they give you resources to get the hell on, because that's what they do. They literally, when you go sign up for welfare, there are pamphlets all over the door. Like, hey, need a job? Hey, want to go to a nursing program? Hey, you want a career? You want to get off welfare? This is what you do. You get the fucking pamphlet, you call the number, and after that, you get to change your life. I've done it. My mom did it. Your mom did it. This is what black women do. Because the thing is, black women are not weak. And this is why we're able to, we're the entrepreneurs. We're the most educated. Because we're born into poverty, but we don't let that, it's like we want more. Because, I guess, because we're royalty and we like having nice shit. So we're like, okay, I'm about to get up off my ass. Oh, you can tell me I can make $22 an hour doing this shit? Oh, I'm about to do this shit. And so that's what we do. We get up off our ass, because the thing is, as long as somebody helps us, we thrive. Black women thrive. And there's not a single, I would love to hear a black woman get on any panel on this planet and be like, black man help me, a black man had me. that doesn't happen. Black men don't hire anybody. All black men do is, hire a black woman to exploit them and sex traffic them. Sorry.
Girl,
they don't give people jobs. They don't have a job to give anyone.
So give me an idea real quick. What do you think the title should be of a call-in? I'm writing it down. Black women whose mothers got off welfare. I'm trying to think of a good title.
Or black women who, do you want to trigger people or you just want to be nice?
A mixture of both.
I was thinking something more along the lines of like black women who escape poverty because of that.
Okay.
And then like the trolls will come, and then you'll have a lot of divested, because what it is, a lot of divested women will call in, especially my sisters. I love when I hear black women who hooked up with other races of men, and their lives just completely change. Like I heard black women on Chrissy's channel who don't even work. Like, they don't do anything. All they do is just sit around and look cute all fucking day. And their man, he makes money, and he's like a CEO and stuff.
Listen, I've heard an older black woman, and it's a lot of them, who said, "You can't do that. You gotta bring something to the table." What you mean? You gotta pay some bills. It don't. My mama and daddy. But girl, that was back in the day. Honey, we ain't muling no more, baby. Okay. Now, if you want to pay some bills, you can, but we don't have to. Like that damn April Jones who was crying about Omarion, talking about, we gotta pay the bills. We gotta go fit. I'm like, I ain't got to do none of that.
You know what's crazy is that I just 2 years ago divorced a thug Roach, and I didn't pay bills our whole 7 years. And he's no Omarion. Like, he's no rapper, singer, artist, nothing. I cannot believe that you want to be somebody's form candy. I was looking at Bambi and her and Scrappy's pictures today, because somebody always posts them on their channel. And people were like, oh, they look so cute together. I said, y'all don't know what goes on in their house. She pays half the bills.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
And even Sandy spoke about how childish and insecure Scrappy is. I always knew that Scrappy was a roach anyway. But she said that they had I think she's pregnant again. So she was on the couch one day with their second baby, and he was saying something like, yeah, you ain't been spending no time with me. Because, black men are jealous of black children. And, the love that we have for our black children, they start to resent us, and sometimes they kill us. But he was like, yeah, you ain't been spending no time with me. Maybe we should just get a divorce. So Bambi said, she didn't forget about what he said. So she woke up the next morning with the same energy. And she was like, okay, so are you ready to get a divorce? Like, let's go sign the papers and stuff. He was like, oh, I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean that. See, that's that immaturity. Like, they're so, like, feeble-minded, like they're just not equipped to do anything. Like, the question, what exactly is a thug? Guys who emulate, the rap persona, do you like them? I used to. Do thugs have a look? Yes, they do.
And what is their look?
Like this guy on the screen, it looks like he has a progressive gingivitis and halitosis. He can't be healthy. I'm sure he smells like Henny and Black and Mild. And he looks like Little Boosie in Future. And he slaps old people in the store.
Okay. What about sagging pants?
Very low class and tacky. Extremely. It reeks of poverty. Sagging pants leaks of low vibrational mentality. It's gross. It's off-putting. It's off-putting. But the thing is, I appreciate guys that do it because it kind of stirs, us away from them. Like, it kind of like, women like us can see it. Like, oh, God, his drawers are showing. Oh, there's a little Snicker bar stain in the back.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell no. Oh my God.
I used to look for they smell like old jackets. That is accurate. They smell like old jackets, keys, chains, Newports, and doorknobs.
I like the urban look, but not every day. Like, I'm not into that every day. Like, okay, you wearing some Timbs and some fitted jeans and a tank top, all right, and a hat, but like every day, like no. I like the Russell Wilson, Brian Gumble type of look, but and I want to.
I like wearing white tees. I'm sorry, sis.
Go ahead.
White tees on top of tank tops. Like, you're not just gonna wear a wife beater with a chain. Like, I don't even let my boys do that anymore.
What if he's built?
12.
What if he's kind of built?
I do not like, built men. Like, I don't know, like Derek Jackson, he's too muscular for me. Like, I don't know. I just don't like that. Because to me, it just comes off as like pretentious, like, oh, he just wants to be like this to attract women. And, men like that think they're a prize, and I just don't. I don't like overly built men like that. I think it's kind of weird.
Okay. Well, I'm about to take the next call, but I want to shout out my mom again because even though we were on welfare at one point, I never felt that way. She always made me beautiful breakfast, eggs or egg salad. I used to eat that. Eggs, biscuits with syrup on it, my cereal with chopped up bananas on it, and delicious yogurt, celery with peanut butter. She just was a homemaker, and she never made us feel like we were even poor. It didn't even seem that way. And
I am smiling so hard. Your mom is a hero. Like, your mom is the reason that Black women like us know how to be mothers and nurturers. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
My oldest child, she's 24, and her baby daddy was very deprived in his childhood, and he always calls me and tells me stuff, that my daughter told him that I did for her, because it sometimes feels like my children don't appreciate me. So when he calls me and tells me stuff that my daughter tells him that I did for her, it just warms my heart. Cerebral, your mom is a hero.
Yes, she is.
Like, she's a diamond. Oh
yeah.
my God.
She is. Sometimes I still tell her, about my childhood. Me and my brother would watch Barney, and she would come on in with this big old plate of breakfast when we would just sit down and watch Barney, and
Right, with all the fixings, and it was all nice and pretty, because she just wanted you to be happy. Like,
yes.
She just wanted, she just wanted you to have a good life.
Yes. Or come in with some grits with the butter and salt and pepper and eggs and bacon, and just give us our little kiss, and while we watching Barney. And she always told us she loved us. And like I said, everybody, I was in Harlem, so everybody at that time was on welfare, so it didn't even seem abnormal.
Yeah, where we were from, it was like that too. But I noticed that our friends would always come into our house and be like, "Damn, y'all got leather furniture." And we used to have one of those big old floors. I'm sorry, that sit on the TV. I mean, one of those TVs that sit on the floor. Like back then those were the flat screens or whatever. And they would be like, "Damn, y'all got money." But it's like, no, our rent is $50 just like yours is. Like, my mom just cares about us.
Yes.
Like, she just.
And I don't want to turn this negative, but my mom has dated men who were jealous of the relationship she had with me and my brother. Like, they really couldn't stand how much she loved us, which was very strange, So.
Oh, yeah. Cynthia G did a video. There was a Ty Roach, and he was cheating on his male Mandy. And she said, why are you doing this? You're getting out because, you've been cheating on me. And she's like, why are you cheating on me? He was like, oh, ever since you had the baby, you be neglecting me. Like, own child, do you realize how dangerous a neighbor is? I mean, a man that's jealous of his own children, that's a recipe for disaster. That is it's grounds for getting rid of, current said neighbor.
Yes.
Because a man should want his child nurture. A man should want his children on his mother's breast, and getting whatever supplements and things that he needs from that child's mother. And the fact that you are feeling insecure about it. I mean, everybody knows that you're broke. Everybody knows that you're powerless and you're conquered and you don't have anything. So why don't you go out and do something to impress this woman to make her turn her attention on you? But no, he won't do that because you are Ty Roach.
Girl. Whew. So I want you to call back. We've been on for 48 minutes. I'm going to call back the next caller. But thank you so much for everything you said, and call back on my next live.
I sure will. Thank you, sis.
All right.
Bye, lady.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Y'all, I want to shout out my mom again. My mom was so loving, and she's still very loving. And I grew up, well, there was a time in my childhood where it was so nice. And like I said, my mom, she's a homemaker type. So, again, the beautiful breakfast. She always kept a clean house, loved to decorate, gives lots of affection, protective, very upfront and truthful as far as telling me about the world, telling me about men. There was no sugarcoating the damn thing. Okay. And she's my friend and my mother, and I'm very grateful to have her. And she was and still is a wonderful mother. And the welfare thing was temporary. Again, she went to school and got a really good job. I don't know what it's like to go without lights or any electricity. That never happened to me, or without water. Hardworking woman. Hello.
Hey.
Hello, 757. Hello.
This is Miss Sincere.
Hey, Miss Sincere.
How you doing?
I'm okay. So let us know.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I see the questions up here. So the first question I see is, what exactly is a thug? And I don't know. I guess in my opinion, somebody who doesn't work, who sells drugs, who's out in the streets, and who's not really trying to amount to anything in life except what they see these rappers doing.
Mm-hmm.
Do I like thugs? No, not anymore. Like when I was 19 and like a kid, yeah. But when you get older, you just want a man that's gonna work. And do thugs have a look? Yeah. Just go outside. Just go outside and look at the dudes that are hanging in front of the grocery stores. Like, not the grocery stores, but the corner stores where it's always a lot of dudes that are hanging out there, but for some reason, especially between the hours of 9 and 5. So, yeah.
Well, give us more detail of this look. Give us more detail.
Girl, I'm pretty sure everybody knows when you go to, like, a 7-Eleven or, I don't know, just a corner store, and I'm in the South, and it's just dudes just sitting out there and some out asking for quarters and trying to holler at you, like the Tyrone dude that beat up the girl from the Bronx in Brooklyn. They got the pants hanging off their ass, and just they smell like weed, and it's just like they're always, and even if in your apartment complex, as soon as the sun comes down, that's when or when the sun starts going down, they just be sitting outside all the time, and it's just like, what do you do for a living? You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Does everybody know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're saying. I've seen it. When I used to visit my family, if in New York, if we would go out in the morning, they would be on the corner, and then at nighttime, they was still out on the corner the whole damn day.
The whole thing is, my aunt, she lives in Sacramento, and she's a nurse. She did nursing, and she worked. And the thing is, that she didn't understand was in her complex that she lived in, it would always be the same dudes that would be sitting outside all day, all the time, and it's like, how are you surviving? Like, what are you doing? Like, you know, if you work overnight, you would be asleep right now in the house. You would just be sitting out here all day long, not doing nothing. I know y'all not, you know, making enough money selling stuff on the streets to where y'all can just sit out there all day long, but I hate to say it, but it's probably a woman that's enabling that bad behavior, because there's no way you can survive just sitting out there like that, just all the time, just not doing nothing.
Okay.
I remember one time I went to the public housing complex where my uncle's baby mama, the mama my cousins live, or whatever. Yeah, whatever you call my uncle's baby mama. I went there, and this guy was trying to holler at me. I'm like, dude, you live in a public housing complex. You got one baby mama in one building here. You got another baby mama in another building over here, and you trying to holler at me. And then he literally just said, because I was getting off of work, picking up my kids from her house, because she watched them for me. And he was just like, you just clocking out of work, I'm clocking in. And he just went right back to the corner.
Girl.
And it's just like, well, you ain't making enough money if you jumping back and forth between your baby mama's house to live in public housing, you just sitting out here all damn day. I'm sorry. Sitting out here all day. You know, it's just, girl.
So, what exactly? We need more detail. What is a thug?
Somebody who doesn't have a I don't even know how to describe it. I can only describe like situations.
When the black men say y'all all love thugs, you don't like no good man, y'all just want a thug. And what comes to your mind on what the thug is?
Somebody with their pants sagging, no job, sits around on the block all day, lives off of his mom or some woman, always saying they ain't trying to hire an N-word or something like that. I don't understand why some of them can't get jobs. Like,
well, because half of them can't read or write a resume, and there's tools out there to help them, but they too damn lazy to do that. And I think of men.
All you got to do is go down to the employment commission, and you just tell them your situation, and they'll help you. Because the whole thing is, if you go down to the employment commission or even the human resources, what's the place called with the food stamp, the EBT, the human services people. If you walk in there and tell them you can't read and you can't write or you can't do this, they will like help you. And there's a lot of women in there. And the whole thing is, like, a lot of the women like to enable them. So as soon as a man comes to the door, from what I have seen, they're just all over them trying to help them. You know, it's yeah.
Do you think that thugs, do they usually have jail records?
Do they have what records?
Jail records?
Probably. Most of them. At least by the time they're 25.
So,
some of them actually by the time they're 16, 17 years old.
How does it make you feel when black men swear to God that most of black women, those are the type of men you want? And is that the majority of them, in your opinion?
Do I think the majority of black men are thugs?
Yes.
No, I'd say about 30-40% of them are like that. And the other 60% just kind of
give us a percentage. Give us a percentage of the black men you think is decent. I mean, a career, no kids all over the place with different women, doesn't smoke, decent. What percentage, a Russell Wilson type, what percentage you think it is for that? Out of 100%.
Well, I say
10%. 10%. Lord.
Oh. And when I say 10%, just because you have a job and you have a career, that doesn't mean that you're a decent man. Because a lot of even the career ones, they're self-hating. They got women all over here and there. I done went to the bus stop one time years back, and this girl had her baby, and she was getting like $2,000 a month in child support because her children's father was a doctor or an attorney or something like that. And he didn't want his wife to find out, so he ended up paying her a ridiculous amount of money every single month for child support so that she wouldn't tell his wife. And so you can't be self-hating. You can't be cheating on your wife. You can't be having women here and there just because you have money. So I would, for men, not just black men, but men in general, I would say, well, okay, for black men, 10%. Yeah, for black men, 10%. For other races of men, maybe 25, 30%. Maybe.
Okay. All right. So thank you. I'm going to take the next call. All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Damn, they hung up. Okay, hold on. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to call someone back. Yeah, why isn't it on here? It was a 951 call, but for some reason it's not on my call ID. So okay, I'll just call the person back from Kalamazoo, Michigan, I think. Hope Springs says so 10% are decent, 30% are thugs, and what's the remaining 60%? Oh my God, I guess in the
Hello?
middle. Hello, this is
Hello?
Cerebral. Hi.
Hi, Cerebral. This is Neutralizer Janine. I haven't been online in a long time. I don't know if you remember me or not, but I used to always be on your
Oh my God, hello.
Hi. I wanted to
Yeah.
call and answer some of your questions here.
Okay, talk up just a little bit.
Okay. I wanted to call and answer some of your questions.
Okay.
What is a thug? To me, I would say Byron Allen is a thug. He is a media mogul, and he does nothing for the image of black women. He has no concern about the conditions of black women.
What's his name again?
So, Byron Allen.
Byron Allen?
Byron Allen.
Oh, Byron Allen.
Yeah, I would say Byron Allen is a thug.
Sounds like he wears a suit.
Yeah, men that wear suits can be thugs. They can talk properly and be thugs. I believe women, girls, basically probably like bad boys in high school. But as you get older, men get older also, and they may think they have matured, but they really haven't. And so I think men who wear suits can absolutely be thugs.
Oh, yes. It's the stereotype that only the guys with don't get me wrong, it is a dead giveaway a lot. But some of these men in these suits, they are just as trifling. They are.
Right, men that try to dominate women, try to control women, they're thugs. They feel like they should have any agency over women's lives. Like Kevin Samuel, he's a thug.
Oh my God.
Just a thug in a suit.
Did you hear about
another
what?
one?
I'm sorry.
Robert F. Smith. Robert F. Smith, the millionaire, billionaire, whatever. He discriminated against black women. He's a thug.
Did you hear about Kevin Samuels saying that he could sleep with young boys, supposedly, if there are no women, that he can rape little boys?
I've seen some videos about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think any heterosexual man would ever say anything like that. So yeah.
Someone just said Derek Jackson is a thug.
Derek Jackson, yes, definitely. He's a pathological liar. He's a that but so some things that he was giving advice about was actually truthful the way women think. And maybe that is what women want to hear, because women know that to be true. That doesn't make what he said was wrong, but him not living that. I believe that there are men out there that can be like that. Not them, but, there are men that can be like that. There's Christian men who are like that. My dad was like that, so I grew up in a perfectly normal home with a perfectly good dad and family. So I don't have any anger or anything. No, unjustified hate towards Black men, but they're not. I don't believe that they're what is the word?
Give me one quick second. Only Truth in the chat says, we're not thugs. We are the Black kings of the earth. My answer to that, you're a king, act like one then, because you're not running a damn thing. You don't act kingly. And you don't even make Black women your queens, so please.
A king has to have a kingdom, and a king provides, protect, and sustain that kingdom, not leave women and children to starve or be on welfare. If at any point that a supposedly king feels that it's okay for women to be on welfare or blame women and children for being on welfare, there definitely is not a king.
And I'm sorry to say this, but Black people are the only ones that have to scream, I'm a king, I'm a queen. Why you gotta say that constantly? It's a self-esteem boost. That's what I don't have to keep saying this shit. I'm a king. No, you are not real life. Go.
That's what they are.
I understand about self-esteem and all that other stuff, but I don't see no other group that has to keep saying this. Like, it's ridiculous.
No, they're not kings, and they need to stop saying that. And if they knew what being a king was, they couldn't sit in the same room with the king. They couldn't, unless the king was just a degenerate bug himself. And those kings, they run very bad kingdoms that are like, that are, the people are starving, and there's revolutions, like the French Revolution or something like that. So
I guess you can be the king of your household if you actually get married. Then you got your queen, your wife with you, and you run your house like royalty and have self-esteem. But I'm gonna keep it real. I went to It's Fashions, and for the Black women, all the shirt says queen on it. It's like, damn, every shirt. I know what it is. It's a self-esteem thing. And the whole king this, king that. Act like it, man.
I think they need to dial all of that back and discontinue the whole king title, queen title. I think all of that needs to be dialed back. You need to be just regular, decent, moral people first before you can even establish what is a king. I mean, the best kingdom that I think on the planet was Israel. That was the best kingdom. That probably was Rome and other, but in my opinion,
now
God's giving David the kingdom of Israel. That was the best kingdom on the planet, and they were a mess. So you have to first be moral people first. Before there's, just regular moral people before you can even go to a place of who should be leader of what. I mean, have families, learn what actually families are.
Yeah.
Before.
Girl, yes. My husband can call me his queen because I'm his queen, but I'm just tired of this king shit. You better go act like a king and do kingly things before you can be labeled a king. Okay.
Right.
It's this whole self-esteem
Definitely.
thing.
Yeah, but and black men got lots of money in America. There should not be any black people hungry, starving, or even poor. So, to me, there's not a king among them.
You know what I actually said to someone the other day, and I said, you know what's amazing? American black people are the richest black people on the globe, but still the poorest
Right.
in comparison in
Exactly.
America. But, you know,
Exactly.
there's money, especially with the amount spent on Jordans and stuff. They got money. They
Right.
just don't know how to use their money.
Right.
And
I did a study, and it's like black people have 8% of the wealth in America, but only 13% of the population. That means that they have more wealth than half of their people.
that's why all the foreign black people come over here, and then they start surpassing black people in America because they know.
And this is not just foreign black people with the wealth either. This is American born ADOS black people with lots of wealth. That if they don't care about the people as kings, as leader of your people, you cannot. It's a shame to China for them to have anybody. They learned from their past history. They've had famine in the past. They learned that it's a shame to have any of your people in poverty.
You know, yeah, they were very, very poor. Now they're a superpower.
Right. When I was growing up, I'm pretty old. It used to be there's eat your food because there's starving people in China. And, it's still eat your food because there's starving people in Africa. There's people don't even have any clothes. That should be a shame to all black men on the planet. They're not kings.
And you know what?
There are kings in Africa. That should be a shame. Every last one of them. And I look at them as the same. They're no different. How are they any different when black women and children are in the same conditions on every corner of the world? So they're not any different anywhere.
And let me tell you, when you bring up China, the reason why some Chinese people used to be so skinny is because all they could have was rice and vegetables, and meat was very expensive.
And they started to practice what is it? One child population control. And people thought that should be a shame on them. That's not a shame on them. They learned because people want starving people. It's a shame to have your people starving.
Yes, I agree.
Any of your people. So, yeah. I mean, it's like there's people in Africa with no clothes. They're like walking around with no clothes, hungry. Where are the men? Where are the men there? South America, they're walking around in rags. Where are the men?
My goodness. You know what?
Every continent.
I am going to do a live about the caller who told me that Rwanda is the best place for a black woman to live in Africa. And you know what I found out from research is that 70% of Rwanda was women because they killed up all the men during the Rwanda genocide.
During the genocide.
I'm like, Lord Jesus. I mean, I said, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So,
it should be a shame.
So tell me this. I have this picture up here, everyone who's new in the chat, because I'm going to do a show about escaping abuse. Do you think that thugs beat women?
Do they need women?
No, do they beat women, physically beat them?
Do they beat women? Yes. Like I said, thugs, I believe thugs are men who actually, it's like if you look at vulnerable people, why would you disregard vulnerable people? To me, that's what a thug is. It's like if you can be a bully is a thug. Okay. So yes, thugs definitely do.
And so you don't like thugs?
No, I don't believe any grown women. I don't believe black women like thugs. I think that's just another the saying that black men use to try to shame black women, have an excuse to be with other races of women, because the majority of black men are thugs. There probably is 1% of black men are thugs. It's almost like the time of Noah. You remember there was only like one good black man that's good enough for his time to actually be saved from the earth. It's basically almost like that. We're moving towards that time. And so you remember in the time of Noah, there was only one black. Noah was black to me. So there was only one good black man left on the planet. So all black women can't fight over that one good black man left. Noah was a man of God. He only had one wife, as God had originally assigned. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of black women, they just get out of luck. And it's hard for them not to run into it. But like I said, there's thugs and suits. If you got men out there that's willing to try to control. Back in the day, and I'm old. I know I don't sound really old, but back in the day, we used to have a saying: if you're not paying someone's bills, you do not get to tell them what to do with their life, in their home, or anything about them. But you got people are arrogant and bold and without boundaries these days. They tell people what to do, and they don't have any contribute to this person's life. So it's like this generation forgot that if you're not paying for a person to live, if you're not paying for their wardrobe, if you're not paying for them to go to the salon, if you're not paying for their bills, you do not get to tell them anything about how to live their life. I think a lot of people need to remember that or bring that back to this generation or something. Because these men are out of control, and I feel that that's being a thug because that's bullying.
Okay.
Why would you want to shame somebody into a life that you want them to live, and you're not providing anything for them? That's a thug.
Okay, my last question is, do thugs have a look?
No. It's like I said, there's thugs in suits, thugs in whatever that teenagers still wear. There's thugs in cross-dressers, thugs. Yeah, there's women thugs, I guess. Yeah, thugs don't have a look. No.
Okay. So I'm going to take the next call. Thank you so much, all right?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome. Bye.
Okay, bye.
I'm going to call the caller calling from Canada. Wow, I have a Canadian calling. Okay, then after that, I'm going to call the 720 area code and the 484 area code who's in the chat. Okay, give me a quick little second. Hopefully this is the right number from Canada. Let me see. I'm not sure, actually. I will find out if this is Canada.
Hello?
Hi, are you, this is Cerebral. Did I talk to you?
Oh, no, hey, Cerebral.
Hey.
This is Jacqueline.
Hello.
My first time calling in. Hi.
I'm fine. Are you in Canada?
No, I'm in Pennsylvania.
Okay, and what's your area code?
484.
Okay, let me scratch that off the list. Okay. All right, so welcome to my show. Tonight's topic, I know you know, so let us know what you have to say about this.
Yes, thanks for accepting my call. So I'm just going to go through each question. What exactly is a thug? To me, a thug is somebody who is a virus to the community and everyone around him. He stays in and out of jail, doesn't have any real life aspirations, smokes, drinks, basically just doesn't really care about himself or other people. Just a person who is of a low vibration. That's my definition of a man who's a thug. Do I like them? No, I don't. Never have. Even during puberty and middle school, high school, was never ever attracted to the thug type whatsoever. I was always attracted to like the nerdy men or the nerdy boys in school growing up. The guys who made like the good grades, the A's and the B's, and who stayed on the honor roll. And I was always very turned off by boys who flunked their classes, who stayed getting like low GPAs and stuff like that. And I think I was trained that way because my dad wasn't a thug.
Okay.
And he had always trained me and my sisters to seek out men, or boys rather at the time, who were about something. And to me, education, I don't play with education. My family doesn't play with education. And boys who flunked out of school, that was the ultimate turnoff. Do thugs have a look? No, they don't, in my opinion. To me, it's all about character. And if you don't have good character, if you don't have high standards, if you don't treat people around you and yourself right, then to me, you're a thug.
Hold on now. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but are you saying that you will date a guy with his pants sagging who dresses like a rapper all the time?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, I was just gonna say that for me, no. Appearance does make a difference. I do like men who present themselves professionally and like they're that they care about themselves. But I have met men who stereotypically look like what you see in the rap videos, but were actually okay men. And I've met guys, I've actually dated a guy who was clean cut, but was very verbally and emotionally abusive to me. This was like years ago. So I think that there needs to be a balance. So yes, care about your appearance, care about how you present yourself to the world, but at the same time, most importantly, care about who you are on the inside as well, and care about I guess your intrinsic value as well and how you treat other people.
Yes, I agree. But you know, one thing, a guy can be smart and sweet, but if he dresses like a rapper, I mean, he has to know how to dress for events. If we go out somewhere, if we go to a five-star restaurant, you know, if we go to a banquet, if we go somewhere fancy, and you have a number of them,
Absolutely.
They don't know how to switch it up. Like, seriously.
Yep, you're absolutely correct. And yeah, to me, I don't like a guy that doesn't know how to dress for the occasion, like you said. I do like a guy to basically care about his appearance and his hygiene and all of that. So that's very important to me as well. So I need like the whole shebang. Like, I don't want a guy that doesn't care about his appearance and is like a stereotypical thug. And at the same time, I don't want a guy that's only clean cut. I want a guy that's, you know, looks decent and is basically a non-thug, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Somebody who, yeah, cares about his community and himself and his future.
Okay. So, all right. So you said thugs don't all have a look, and you're not attracted to the thugs. Your father, my dad wasn't a thug type either, which is why I think I'm attracted to so-called squares, as they say. I like a square that can talk to anybody, has flavor, and can lay it down in the bedroom. Yeah, I said it. So you know,
No, you're right.
okay.
You're absolutely right. I hear you. Yeah.
So,
and then with oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Even not only just my dad, but most of the men in my family, these are all black men. I've had mostly positive examples of black men in my family who are not the thug type. Uncles, cousins, obviously my father, my brother, all of them do not represent that type of, you know, stereotypical thug that you see in the media and, you know, music videos and stuff and in the news. So I guess that's what shaped my view as far as like what to look for in a guy as well. And I know I also want to mention this, that girls in general, most girls growing up, I want to say most girls kind of go through that phase where they are attracted to the bad boy for some reason. I was never that type, but I'm not naive to not think, that there are a lot of adolescent girls who, once they hit puberty, they want to go through that phase where they want to date the bad boy and stuff like that. And unfortunately, in our community, a lot of our adolescent girls wound up making mistakes where they wound up getting pregnant, or they wound up catching a disease or having sex too early and stuff like that. Not really knowing that it's okay to date and have sex, but to do so responsibly. I think in our community, we don't really teach our young daughters enough about how to, okay, if you want to have sex, if you want to screw, do so, but don't ruin your future over it. Like, just, play the field, but wait to start a family and protect your room for the man that'll one day be your husband, basically.
Let me ask you this. Jabbar in New York says, he says this in the chat, any man who speaks slang is usually faking who he really is. This is facts. Do you agree with that?
Any man who speaks slang is faking it?
Yes.
I don't think that's fact. It really just depends on where that man was raised and, his environment. So I don't think slang is something that a person fakes. I just really think it just depends on their environment and how they grew up. Like, let's say they grew up in the hood or something, not trying to stereotype all hood people, and they grew up in a household where slang was the norm and how they talked, and, cursing all over the place and stuff like that, and calling people N's and B words. So if you grew up in that type of environment, you really don't know any way, any other way of how to talk properly or communicate, then that person may not be faking it. That just might be how they communicate or talk. So I just really think it just depends on the person, and how they were raised and what environment they come from. So, okay. Yeah, that's my opinion on that.
Do you think a man who's a hood rat can change into a square type? You know how they say the women can't change, but can a man change from being a hood rat?
I think so. I really do, but he will have to want to change, though. And in addition to that, he would have to be linked up with somebody who can be a good mentor to him, especially if that mentor reaches him at a young age. I want to say like probably adolescent to maybe early 20s, when they're still trying to come into themselves. I definitely think that a hood rat, quote unquote, can change into a square type. I think, unfortunately, because our community is so fractured and there's like a million things wrong, our kids, both girls and boys, are growing up in an environment where there's like a lack of guidance. So I think with a mentor and a young guy who, maybe kind of lost, I think that young guy can turn his life around and become, I guess, more of a square type if he's introduced to different avenues like education or job prospects. And let's say if he can't read or write, maybe he's introduced to more resources to better himself. So I absolutely do think that there's potential in that. The only thing is that he has to be receptive to it.
Yes, but I have to be honest. When I hear ebonics and that shit, that turns me off. I can't. I can't be dragged. Yeah. I can't be dragged back to Blackistan or that hood shit. I'm not. I don't. No, please.
No, I am 100% in agreement with you, and I also believe it has a lot to do with age sometimes too. If you're like in your 40s or 50s and still speaking ebonics and stuff like that, to me, I think you're old enough to know better. Versus somebody who's, a teenager, I was like, okay, they're still kind of, ignorant or whatever, or still learning. But definitely a grown-ass man, I expect this man to know how to speak properly.
And if you
Definitely.
can't, we can learn. You know, we got the internet now to help us and stuff.
I agree. There's absolutely no excuse. Like, we have so many things at our fingertips now that we can utilize as tools to better ourselves. And even if we can't afford, to go back to school or anything like that, there's always a library. There's always community centers. I mean, to me, like you said, there's just no excuse
Yes.
at this point. And I know everybody has their own pace in which they can better themselves and learn, but at the end of the day, there is an expectation for me as far as like when adults should start maturing into themselves and leave all that kid stuff behind, especially running the streets and staying stagnant in your adolescent years mentally. So
Yes. Okay. So thank you so much for everything, all the information, the knowledge you gave us and dropped today. And I want you to call back on my next live.
oh, thank you so much, Ramol. I really appreciate you taking my call.
You're welcome.
Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
I gotta I'm trying to find the Canada number. Somebody called me from Canada. Where is that number? I think it was a 909 number. For some reason it's not on here. Then where's that 720 number? If y'all are still listening, I want you to call me back. Let me see my voicemail. Did I get any? Okay. I'm gonna call you back, Canada. I think this is you. Hello? Okay. It's not ringing for some reason. Hello?
Hello, you've reached Ebony. I'm not available right now.
Oh, Lord. Okay. I'm going to call you one more time. Canada, I believe. And then the 720 if I don't get Canada on.
Hello?
Hi, this is Cerebral.
Hello?
Hi, this is Cerebral.
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? This is Cerebral. Okay. I'm going to call her back really quick. I love when I get calls from outside the US. It's amazing because you never know who's listening to your show. I've had calls from England. I've had calls from South Africa. I've had calls from Sweden.
Hello?
Hello? Hi, this is Cerebral.
Hi, Cerebral. My name is Ebony Rose. I love you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've been a follower of yours for years, for 10 years.
10 years, girl, y'all. See, I told y'all I've been on here for a while. She has been following me for 10 years. Thank you. So, yes.
I would say not to know, but I'm in the kitchen cooking my dinner. But I wanted to talk to you about the thug, right?
And are you calling from Canada?
No, I'm calling from California.
Okay. All right. California. What part of California?
Well, I live in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us what you have to say.
Well, what I wanted to call and tell you guys about, how you were saying, do we like the thugs? And this is what I was thinking, the thugs is kind of forced on us, okay? They forced on us. They're very aggressive, and then sometimes you'll mistake the aggressiveness for flattery. And then, like for me, when I was 30, I'm in my 40s now, right? And I left this dude alone. But I went out with this guy, because he worked at a grocery store, and I thought he was cute, light-skinned black guy, right? Mm-hmm. I let him come over my house, and the disaster was he moved in my house, and I couldn't get him out of my house.
Hold on. I don't know if they can hear you good. It's a little muffled. She said that she was talking to this fine, light-skinned black guy, and that he came over her house, and it was a disaster. He would not leave out her house. He was a homosexual.
Yeah, he moved in on me.
How did this happen? How does this happen? Because this is your house.
It happened because I bombed, right? You know what the BBC? He had one of the BBCs, okay?
He had a BBC.
He had one of the BBCs. And what I was saying is, these dudes use these BBCs as weapons to move in your house.
Hold on now. So the penis was popping, and he stayed in your house and wouldn't leave out your house. Why couldn't you just, girl? Hold on.
I called the police to get him out of my house. Next thing you know, he had been staying with me for a month. He had mail forwarded there. Would you believe you got to be careful letting people come over your house and not making them leave in time, right? Because they told me I have to go down to the court building and have this guy evicted.
Okay. Now I have heard that, ladies, don't forget that when someone is in your house for over a month and they are getting mail, you cannot kick them out. It's the law will tell you cannot kick them out because they officially live there. But my thing is, what was he doing coming over your house? I know that, okay, you said the penis was good, but did you try to kick him?
Because he was dating me for reasons. Me out on dates. I'm thinking I've got the good guy, right? But that ain't no good guy when you going out here and he's basically homosexualing you and moving up in your shit and he won't get out. You know what I had to do to get away from that guy? I had 3 kids from a previous marriage, okay? What I had to do was take my kids to my mother's house. And I took as much as I could from my house. I left my stuff and got me a whole nother apartment somewhere else. And didn't pay the rent there.
Now,
I had to leave my apartment to get away.
So, okay, so ladies, if you can't understand, okay, you were dating him, he was laying it down, and you didn't know he had forwarded his mail to your apartment.
No, he basically just bossed up on me to live in my house for free, Cerebral.
Was you scared of him? Was you scared he might beat you?
He was hitting me. When I told him to get out of my house, this is when I met the Lamar the Thug. Okay?
Hold on, he was whooping your butt?
He was whipping my ass, okay? If I asked him to get the hell out of my house. You're not paying any bills here. You don't need to be here, okay? That is the Thug. Who is the good black man?
Okay, so he rolled up in your house. He said he wouldn't leave. He started beating you, was getting mail forwarded to your house, and by law, he now lived there. And it took you getting another apartment to get rid of him?
To get rid of him, yes.
Did you ever try to get a restraining order against him?
I got a restraining order and everything. And his mama, she had my number. She was calling me. Well, you not just let Lamar come back. No. He ain't that bad of a guy. He just ain't got a job no more. He lost his job at Stater Brothers, okay?
He had lost his job.
He had lost his job, but that's not my problem that you lost your job. You see, these black men, what they do is they guilt you. They guilt you into feeling sorry for their because he done lost that job for his bad attitude that he got up at work. Why am I dealing with that? I got my job. I used to drive the bus. Okay? So that's all I got to say about these good black men. And yes, they are thugs because they kind of force themselves on you. They don't want to marry you, but they will force place to really stay, the stable. Like they watch that dude that's living with his mama and living with his brother type of mess, or my roommate. Because a lot of times that means that they just homosexual and over there too. Okay? And if they try to lay this, I got a job to look like a good black man.
Now let me ask you this. When he was laying it down in the bedroom, did he say sweet things to you that made you think he loved you?
Well, yeah, girl, I love you. You got some good, you know what? Yeah. But you're not a good guy when you ain't paying no bills around here and I want you to leave. All that good loving, it don't matter if it's good loving. It's no longer good loving when I don't want you there.
Now hold on. How long did it take for you to realize he was no good and you wanted him out your house? Like, how long were you messing with each other for you to realize I don't want you?
2 long, miserable, hellish years.
2 years. Hold on. Now, when you first started messing with him, when did you see the signs that this guy is no good? Like, how long?
Well, I started seeing signs when he's in there cooking up my pork chops, cooking up my food in the house, not really contributing, And then I hate to say it, but I got blinded by the D, okay?
Okay.
I got blinded by that. I never left him alone with my children. I had my babysitter, my mother, and babysitters. But I never left him alone with my children in the house with him. So that wasn't the issue. The issue was that I did not want him in my home anymore. He was not contributing. And since he was not contributing, I met the thug. The thug slapped me in my face because he's not contributing.
Now,
so a lot of these dudes, what they do is they force themselves on you to try to force you to take care of them. Like they're brainwashing you, over aggressively dealing with you. And yeah, you might say it might have been my fault. Like, you chose the thug. Well, I didn't choose a thug. I didn't want to choose a thug. He presented a different package to me, is all I'm saying.
Did he ever make you feel guilty if you wanted to break up with him?
He would make me feel guilty, like I ain't got no job to stay the brothers no more. I ain't even working to stay the brothers no more. That ain't my fault. I don't know what he did down there to make them people find him, but it took him forever and a day to get another job, which he never got a job while he was there. But he was trying to guilt me into making me feel like it's my responsibility because he said to me, he said, you've been paying the bills before I got here, so why can't you continue to pay them?
What? Oh, hell no. But you know what? I think you should have dumped him early. He should not have access. I know you said the penis was wonderful, but I'm sorry. You really got to be doing something for me to get that crazy in love, like Beyonce said, to be paying these bills and you beating me up, and
That's why I'm so grateful for you, because do you realize how broken down us black women be with these dudes? We don't even be realizing that we being abused. How hard did he hit you? I was asked that by a girlfriend, a ghetto friend of mine. He didn't hit you that hard, did he?
Girl.
And just hitting you at all is okay. You see what I'm saying? So, if you single and you got your own place, this is what I think. Stay away from these dudes coming up in your house. Because they don't want to get out. Okay? Now, you might think you're strong. I got something for you and all that. It's a lot easier said than done in California. They get mail coming to your house. They don't have to move. You got to take them down there to get evicted. And if they're abusing you, you need proof to show that you've been being abused.
You know
Otherwise,
what?
you're on your own.
Now, what some are saying in the chat is that you have learned your lesson from this, right?
I have learned my lesson and leave these Tyrones alone. You just got to leave them alone. Because which one is the good one? I don't get it. And for your question about who is the thug, a lot of these thugs, a lot of these dudes, they use sex to lure you in if they are any good in sex. They want you to pay them for it. They
Mm-mm-mm.
So I'm done. I'm done with them all. So I'm listening, and I'm in the chat for people. I just want to get that off right quick. You know, these young girls getting their apartments or whatever. You know, keep these dudes out your house, especially if you have children. It's dangerous for you and it's dangerous for them. I learned my lessons on hard way, and I will never, ever date a guy like that ever again. Okay? For
Okay.
real.
And yes, it's not just the penis. It's like Jabbar said, it's the gift of gab. Some of them know how to sweet talk. That whole I ain't got no job, that ain't working on me. I'll give you, if I was in that situation, I'm going to give you 3 months at the most. And if you can't find a job, baby, you got to go because I am not taking care of you.
Yeah,
You're supposed to be taking care of me.
I did that for people. 3 months turned into 2 years. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes, so just to avoid it, I just don't let them come over no more. We just can't let them come over because they want to like they do the whole bashing thing of us black women online. They bashing us like the way that they be doing, right? To force us to stay with them, you know, to force us to feel guilty about dating a local feminist to get out of poverty. They want to force us to basically to stay with them, and they use a lot of guilt, you know. So I don't even really like having conversations with them, really, because they don't have no accountability. It's everybody else's fault. It's fault. So you can't even win no argument with them.
And let me say this, the whole 3-month thing, I'm not even trying to mess with no man that don't have no job or don't bring in no kind of money to provide. But if he was my husband or my man and he falls on hard times, he got to get his shit together in at least 3 months. Well, you know, if we're whatever, just get your shit together, period. And it's not always just the penis. Sometimes it's other things they're doing. You know, I've known women who told me, you know, what the man was doing to them in the bed and that they couldn't get rid of him for a while, especially if he's doing some other things besides the penis, and that it's you know, it can be hard for some women, especially if you ain't never been satisfied before and he's saying all the right things. It can make you go crazy. So I'm not going to judge you for that. I'm just happy you finally got rid of them. Somebody in the chat said, how did she get rid of them? She had to go get another apartment, you know?
I had to get another apartment and leave my stuff and come back and get my stuff later because I got evicted from that because he couldn't pay the rent. That's when he was going to leave because he had to leave because I wasn't paying the light bill, the water bill no more. That's how I got him up out of there. You see what I'm saying? So these good guys, they get drowned out by these so-called good black guys. Because who are they? Because we can't tell the difference from the good ones. And once the good guy turns bad.
Yeah, they don't always turn they don't always turn bad. They was bad the whole time, but they presented something else to you so that you would keep them. So So is there a look? Did he have a thug look? Is there a look to a thug?
You know what? Remember that basketball player Allen Iverson?
Yes.
When they used to have big bag braids about 10 years ago?
Yes.
The brothers was wearing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lord, have mercy, cerebral. This dude, I don't mess with a dude with braids ever because he was a burden on my time. He wanted me to, you know, get my grease out, my hair combs, and all that braiding up on his hair and everything. And I'm busy. I had 3 little boys. I get their hair cut so I can get going. But he has them cornrows. Cornrows is a no for me.
Oh yeah, a grown man with cornrows? A grown man with cornrows? No.
A 32-year-old man with cornrows at the time. Okay? And I'm pretty sure he's still wearing them cornrows. I don't know what's up with these men with these funky, struggle, dusty cornrows, these struggle ponytails, dudes, because if he couldn't get his hair braided, he would have that shit slicked back in a ponytail. Okay?
And you know, one of the reasons when you see this, you know they don't have a good career because professional jobs don't like men who have long hair at large, no matter what the race is. Especially cornrows and long
Exactly.
dreadlocks, they typically don't have a good career at
And
large.
you know what? And you know what, Cerebral? When I was young, I wasn't paying attention to that. You know, I just hair, it's just hair. He just want to keep his hair. You want to have an afro. You want to wear it in braids sometimes. But if you're a man, you need to get a haircut so you can get a job. That's probably why they fired him at that Stater Brothers job. I don't know. But, yeah, the cornrows, to me, cornrows. I don't like men over 40 wearing jerseys.
Hold on for a second. Give me 1 second. Only Truth, who keeps talking smack in the chat. You said laying the pipe is the key. This is the one time I will get a little out of character. And my future husband, forgive me, baby, you need to learn how to eat pussy. Yeah, I said it. Okay? Because if you can't do that, God bless you. Because the D ain't enough. Learn how to fulfill on all levels. Okay, that's the last time I ever say that. All right, so
Learn how to use your hands. Lord have mercy.
I don't, you know what? I don't know if this live gonna stay up after I just said that. I feel kind of ashamed for saying that. I mean, but I'm sorry. Your penis ain't just enough. You need to learn how to satisfy a woman. That's some of y'all problems. You think just because you got a penis, that's enough. It ain't enough. Not to no real grown woman. Anyway, so.
And you know what? It's funny that guy in the chat said that because, you know, I really believe cerebral. Now, this is what dawns on me right now. These men think that they need to be compensating for giving you their penis. They want you to pay for them. They want to be the women. They want you to pay to sleep with them, pretty much. You know, so I'm done. But I'll get back in the chat. But thank you for taking my call, Cerebral. I really appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much.
You are really helping us. You're opening our eyes. I hope you realize that.
Thank you.
Oh my God. You have my confidence. These dusty and these strong braids. What you think on hell? No. I'm myself with a cat.
Yes, thank you. All right.
Okay, so people take care. Bye.
Bye. I'm sorry I talk like that, seriously, and to my future husband, I'm sorry, because I am a lady, but men like Only Truth, you think that just because you have a penis, that's enough? Why do you think I mentioned kissing on your woman's back, rubbing her feet, caressing her? I mean, baby, you need to learn. A lot of y'all think just the penis. No, you need to learn about foreplay. You need to learn how to please on every level. I said that instead of saying what I said. I was hoping maybe you would get it. Okay, because a lot of y'all ain't even good at that from what I heard, and I ain't going into detail, but y'all need to step your shit up because just because you got a penis, that ain't enough. Okay? And a woman who's been pleased knows the deal. I ain't saying no more on that. Shoot. Yeah, you laying the pipe down and a man who knows how to go down might steal your damn woman. Okay. Damon, yeah, I don't care the real nature of women. Yeah, they want to be pleased sexually by their man. I'm telling you what a lot of them ain't gonna say. I mean, a number of them say it. It's just the truth. Besides emotional being, having a good relationship emotionally and all that, you got to know how to do some other stuff. Because another man can steal your woman doing that. I hope you know that. Okay. Hello from 513 Ohio.
Hey sis, this is Black and Bougie again.
Hey.
If somebody needs to call in, I will definitely hang up, but I have to say something about it.
Okay, go ahead.
I simply could not resist. Okay, that sister that was talking about, that guy moving in that didn't want to leave, man, that is so par for the course. I know some of us divested women are, how could she be so stupid, or why would she do that, or whatever. I mean, some of us, have been divested all of our lives. Many of us, most of us, learned to be divested because we knew that, investing in these men was just a complete lost cause. There is a homosexual. Have you guys ever seen that guy on the internet that talks about, how to move into a woman's house?
Yes, I saw it.
Okay, so we are privy to this nonsense.
Okay.
So remember what he said. He said, "Go over there, lay good pipe." Just listen to the words that he's saying. He's not saying provide, make her feel secure, make her feel like you give a damn about her. None of that shit. He said, "Go over there, lay it down good, and when she wakes up and goes to work, do not leave." He said, "Don't leave." He said, and if she tells you, that you don't have to leave before she goes to work, you can just stay in there, and then while she's gone, go and get your shit. And you heard what he said, "You in there, bruh. You in there. You got a spot in that motherfucker. That's gonna be your shit. Don't leave. And wash the dishes and cook up some shit." Keep in mind, he never once said, "Go to the grocery store and make her and her children a nice dinner." He said, "Go in her freezer, cook her food, and wash up the dishes so that when she comes home, you can just start living there."
I saw it. It was disgusting. But the thing is, it does work, and it's sad. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's going to take more than that.
My hope was that he was trolling. And the thing is, even if he's not, he knows that is the blueprint for other black men. Now, I have 6 brothers and sisters. My oldest brother is a raging alcoholic. So there are, it's 3 of us girls that have allowed him to live with us for the past 20 years. Sometimes he used to live with me. Sometimes he used to live with my oldest sister, who is a devout Christian who does not allow drinking in her home. And then sometimes he lives with the baby, our youngest sister, who is kind of a free-for-all. She doesn't let his friends in her house, but she lets him drink. So, this is how weak these guys are. Okay, so my oldest brother, who is a raging alcoholic, I remember when I was in school, and this is when, I was in the welfare to work program. I was getting off of welfare, that white daddy provided. I had got a phone call, and they said, "Your brother has been found in an alley, and he's beaten up real bad, and one of his lungs collapsed."
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, "Oh, my God." So, I'm telling my teacher, like, "Look, I got to go. Something's wrong with my brother, this, that, and the third." Come to find out, my brother, who is a raging alcoholic, broke into a white woman's house who was an MMA fighter.
Oh.
He tried to beat her up, and she beat the living hell out of my brother to the point to where she broke his rib.
Damn.
And my brother was fighting for his life. So, we're all afraid, and we're like, "Oh, my goodness." Keep in mind, we're sitting there, as a family, like, "Oh, my goodness, I can't believe he did this." We're not blaming her in any respect, because she came to the waiting room crying, and she was like, "I'm so sorry. I just had to protect myself, and this, that, and the third." I said, I can't blame you. Like, I can't, like me and my family, we couldn't, get mad at her. So, once my brother recovered, they gave my brother 6 years of prison.
Ooh. 6 years.
So, we're like, yeah, they gave him 6 years for breaking into a white girl's house and trying to rape her, because they said he had like zip ties, duct tape, like a rape kit in his trunk. I'm like, what the fuck? So, now I'm sitting back. So now me and my sister, we're coming to a solution. keep in mind, two of us are worldly. The other one of us are, my other sister is a God-fearing Christian. And so I'm like, okay, ladies, regardless of your beliefs, we need to accept the fact that our brother is possibly a rapist. I mean, he went into a woman's house with a rape kit, and she beat his ass. Like, he almost died. And my sister's like, oh, well, I believe in the healing power of Christ. And, that was back then, I was already on the verge of atheism then, so I was done with my belief in God and all that stuff. And I said, well, I don't give a it's never going to change.
Yes.
So my brother went to prison, and he got out. Well, we're all sitting on the three-way trying to figure out who he's going to live with. I said, well, I'm done. He's already lived with me. He used to leave beer bottles, and Swisher shit all over my floor. He used to, leave his liquor on my coffee table. My son accidentally drunk it, so he can't come back over my house. And so my younger sister was like, no, I gotta go to school. He can't live here. Okay. So now it comes back to, okay, now he needs to live with my
Black and Bougie. I'm not trying to be rude, but I gotta make 3 more calls.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
But at the end of the day, he basically had to get, he wouldn't get out of my sister's house, and she had to get like an eviction notice. Keep in mind, a prisoner, a rapist, a bum, she had to get an eviction notice for him to get out. So he terrorized my sister for 90 days until, the city put him out of my sister's house. So no, it's not worth it. Your brothers, baby daddies, nobody.
All right. Okay. So thank you so much for telling us. All right. Bye.
Bye.
London Link, thank you for the donation. You said, should we as a people stop using good and start using high integrity to describe people? I think it leaves out any vague interpretations of good or bad. That's not bad. Okay. I feel sort of embarrassed I said what I said earlier to that man, but I just get so sick of some of them thinking that BBC is all it takes. Like, no, it's not. That's a part of it, but Lord. And that's why I've heard so many stories of Black women saying they have experienced intimacy with men who are not Black, real romance, kissing on the back, the neck, love making, not just a DMX. Y'all know what DMX did on Belly. I don't have to say. Okay, hi, 720.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay.
I'm Purple Love.
Hey, Purple Love. So.
Hi. So I think the question was about thugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you wanted to know the definition of who a thug is.
Okay, what you say just now?
You wanted to know the definition of a thug?
Yeah, to you. What is a thug?
To me. Okay, well, to me, a thug is like somebody who pretty much sells drugs into prison and disrespects women and children and kills, like all in one bundle.
Do they beat women?
Yeah, definitely. Not all of them, but it's not a surprise because they don't have any humanity in them. So.
Okay. So, how do you feel when people say Black women, y'all all love thugs? That's all you date is thugs. You don't want no nice, regular, good guy.
Well, I don't think that's true. And I feel like, honestly, that's just an excuse because you have white women that also like thugs, but they don't. Yeah, they don't call them out for it.
They call them bad boys.
Yeah, bad boys. And I don't think. I mean, you will have some Black women that like thugs, like the roughneck kind of guys. But I wouldn't say all of them like thugs. It's impossible for a whole group of women to like. I mean, that kind of. I personally feel like most women like square guys. Most women like square guys. But I feel like if a woman likes thugs, then she's probably I don't know if there's a name for that, but I'm just gonna say she's probably a thug too, or she's probably into that kind of lifestyle. But like a woman who is not only educated but has some sense, I don't think she's gonna like thugs. I don't think all black women like thugs. Maybe a little, some, but not all. Definitely not all. It's
Okay.
impossible.
And yes, Mocha Mommy says yes, it's not just the thugs. There are bankers and soldiers beating their wives as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that because at first when they used to say black women like thugs, I used to think, well, are they talking about African American women or talking about African women? Because with me, like I'm African, from Ghana. I was born in Italy, but my parents are from Ghana. And normally in school in general, we're not even like if you're a bad boy, you're shunned. You're shunned. Like normally, if you get more respect if you're square like in school, and that's in school. And I went to middle school in Ghana, I came to high school here. So I don't think that's true. And honestly, I don't even think all African American girls like thugs. Maybe when some of them is when they're young, maybe when they watch like rap videos and that kind of limelight. But I don't think it's the norm.
Do you think have African men adopted African Americans men's thug culture in America?
I think. Are you asking me?
Yes, in America. Have African men who live in America adopted African American men's toxic part of their culture?
I think, honestly, I think some of them they do. Like, I think some of them they do. I think some of them they do, especially the ones that maybe like were either born here or raised here, like right here, like in a maybe teenage age. I think some of them do. I was actually surprised to find out at first because I thought they were all goody goody, but actually I feel like some of them they do. Normally the girls are like a bit more relaxed, chill, like they don't go into kind of lifestyle, which I'm surprised. Like I told my mom, like I don't know why it's always the guys, like African men, that have to like adopt to something crazy or bad. And not all of them, but whenever you hear like people trying to like be something they're not, when it comes to Africans, it's normally the men. It's never the girls. It's always boys. So I think yeah, I think some of them they do, especially if they have that kind of friends, if they have like African American friends that are into that kind of stuff. I think sometimes they do adapt to that.
Yes.
I think so.
And yes, I agree, Annette Wilder. Yes, there are parts in Africa where the men are very toxic, the FGM and much more.
Yeah.
But that's why I said, specifically in America, do they start, trying to dress and do the thug look and act like the thugs and the rappers here in America. All right, so I'm gonna.
But they do something back home too, anyways.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna take the next call. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to call the 521 number. Give me a second. Huh. 521. Let me see. For some reason, that's not on my phone. There was a 347 number as well. Okay, give me a quick little second, y'all. Let's get these numbers. The 347, 513. Did I talk to 513? Okay, there were two calls I wanted to make, a 521 area code and a 512 area code. I'm going to call back the 347 area code. Give me a second. The phone is not ringing. Let's try this again. Very strange.
Please leave your message for 3.
Okay, I'm going to call one more time to that number. Hold on. Okay, they're calling me. Natalie. Hello, Natalie.
Hi, Cerebral.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. Just loving all these calls coming through, and I would love to hear your opinion on this topic.
Yes, I would like to add my opinion based on the topic about do black women love thugs?
Mm-hmm.
So what would you like to know? Like the question about like,
is it true to you? What is a thug, and do you like thugs, and do they have a look?
In my definition of a thug is somebody that does not abide by the law, a criminal. Somebody that is a danger to the society. You know, okay. That's what I feel a definition of a thug is.
Is it true when you hear the men say, y'all don't want us good men, even though they don't even have a definition of what makes them good, just because they have a job, but they say, you don't want us good men, you only want the thugs. How does that make you feel when they say this?
I think that's a lie, because they always supposedly say like women, especially black women, because I'm a black woman, so I'm going to speak for black women. That black women supposedly only want thugs, when we don't want thugs. It's just that because they feel like, because I personally feel like because we're black women, we don't deserve a good man. You know what I mean? Like some guys, they will literally offer other races of women something good, and then when it comes to black women, they have to act. They feel like they have to act a certain way. They feel like all black women act like, oh, you know, like they act a certain way, so they have to come to us a certain way, like try to be ghetto or try to be like, you know, what they're not. And I experienced it from other races of men. I think, you know, if they want to come to black women, you know, they have to maybe like act stupid when they would never do that with other races of, maybe their race of women.
Oh, that's so insulting.
Yeah, it is insulting. You know, like I have to put some certain guys in check. Like when they come talk to me, they're like, "What's good?" I'm like, "Listen, don't talk to me like that. Like, do you hear the way I speak? I'm an educated woman. I have a bachelor's degree. I have a master's degree. If you want to come talk to me, if you can't come talk to me correct, like in a proper manner, like in terms of like your vocabulary has to be correct, don't talk to me at all." And they're like, "Oh, I had one of them that told me like, oh, I was bougie." I'm like, "Yeah, I like to be bougie."
Thank you. Girl, listen, I'm going to have a whole live about this because I've had a similar experience. And as far as men not black who want you to be a stereotype, like I'm so turned off by that. So, and also, yeah, I embrace the bougie label. I'm not stuck up, but I'm not a hood chick. I mean, I can blend in anywhere. I lived in the hood, but I don't embrace being a hood rat and all that stuff. So.
Yeah. I don't carry myself as well. Like, you know, when I was younger, like I told you I'm in my early 30s now. I'm like your age, like 32. When I was younger, like I've never been attracted to bad boys. I actually always been attracted to guys that, are educated because I come from a very well-off family. My dad is he's an OBGYN doctor. My mother's a nurse practitioner.
Wow.
Yeah, I come from a well-educated family. Everybody in my family are well-educated. I have 5 brothers and 1 sister, and all my brothers are educated. I have an accountant, an engineer. My older brother is a business. He's a lawyer and he has his own business, vitamin business. My sister's a pharmacist. So like we're all doing our own thing. We're all doing pretty good for ourselves. So like if I come from a certain background, if I'm talking to a guy, you have to have at least a college degree, like a bachelor's degree. I don't settle. I'm not gonna say, oh, just because I'm getting older. No, because I'm gonna speak from my opinion, from my perspective. I can't speak for the rest of the women on the chat, but I feel like sometimes how you carry yourself, and you have to check these men because they would try you. Like they would come up to you and be like, just because you're black, they have to talk slang, like what's good, shorty, or sag your pants. No, based on the way I look, you can't even come to me if you have your pants sagging. You have to look a certain way. And you know what happened, Cerebral?
Mm-hmm.
I told you about a certain situation where when I was dating my ex-boyfriend, he approached me in a suit. I met him, I went to the cupcake store. And I met him in the store. He was polite and everything. And he had a suit on. So, he opened the door like a gentleman. And, we were talking. Everything was great. And, we started dating. He asked me to be his girlfriend. We started dating and everything. And when I first met him, he had a suit and everything was looking good. And then after we started dating, he started dressing sagging his pants, putting his hat backward. Like, I was like, dude, like, you don't have a good, like, you're 43.
Thank you.
40, like, why are you dressing like you're in high school? And I have to literally check it because when we go out, I put myself together. Like, I love to wear dresses most of the time. I don't wear heels necessarily because, I want to be comfortable. So I wear dresses with, like, a nice pair of cute sneakers. And we would go out, and this guy would be wearing, like, pants, sagging, and everything.
Oh,
so
no.
I was like, listen, you need a makeover. I'm going to help. Like, I'm going to try to at least make you over. He did not like that. He felt like, he was like, oh, if you really love me, you will accept me for who I am. You can't try to change me. So you know what? I didn't break up with him because of that, but there was other things that he kept doing over and over. Like in terms I told you about, he said, you do 50 and I do 50. You pay half, I pay half. You open the door, I open the door.
Oh,
like,
hell no.
Am I the girl in the relationship or you're the girl in the relationship? Like, do you have pussy between your legs too? Like, do you want pussy? Like, what's going on here? Like, am I the man or you're the man? Like, which one is it?
Oh.
So there was other things that he was doing that it was adding up, and it's just too much. Like, I'm just like, okay, I understand. Like, okay, maybe I could try to change his sense of style. But when you try to say, oh, you pay half, I pay half. You open the door, I open the door. Like, you're a bitch. Are you a bitch? Like, are you a girl?
Girl.
Like, do you want to be a girl?
You know,
like, who's the girl in the relationship? Who's the girl in the relationship? Me or you? Like,
yes.
Which one is it?
Natalie.
So that was.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy was in his 40s.
It's ridiculous.
I'm like, listen.
And what you're saying, like, look, Natalie in the chat says, I'm not making anyone over. I feel that I am done with trying to change a man. Either I like you or I don't. Either you're my type or you're not. Because I'll actually feel bad having to tell a man how to dress because I know that might hurt their feelings. But I like clean cut men. I don't like the thug look every single day type of thing. And I find that the older they get, the harder it is. Let them be who they are and just find the woman that likes that. Okay.
Yeah, I've never been attracted to a thug, and that's just I personally prefer guys that, number one, they dress nice, they smell nice, because the hygiene is extremely important to me. And the way a man dress, the way my mom always tell me, my dad especially always tell me that the way you carry yourself is how people's gonna treat you. Unfortunately, we live in a society where people judge you based on the first impression. So if you carry yourself a certain way on the first time people meet you, that's how they're gonna judge you no matter what. You cannot change the first impression. Unfortunately, we live in a society where everybody judges based on their first impression. And once the first impression doesn't go right, it's always
Mm-hmm.
going to be labeled on you as such.
You
You know what I
know.
mean? So if I'm sorry.
Oh no, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I don't even give guys that dress a certain way a time of day. You cannot put yourself together in terms of like the way you dress. But I have to tell you like, oh, can you dress? Can you wear perfume? Can you wear cologne? Can you wear a polo shirt? Can you wear a suit? If I have to tell you how to dress, then this is not gonna work. Like no. I mean, if a guy treats me good, like if he's a gentleman, if he's a provider, if he's a good person, and if he needs help with the dressing, I can deal with that because I can compromise. I know how to compromise. You know what I mean? Like I can help you out a little bit because I have a good sense of fashion. But if you have a horrible personality and a horrible style, then you gotta go. You have to pick one. You have to pick one. So that's just my opinion on that. And based on what you just said about do they have a look? No, thugs don't have any look. Like, I just want to give an example. I actually know a guy from college where he was a revolving. He called himself a revolver. I said, what does that terminology mean? He said that he's been to jail for 9 years.
Oh.
And he's basically a college street dude. So now all of a sudden he's been in jail for 9 years. And I was like, what did you go to jail for? You know what he said? He said that he robbed the bank.
Girl, and you know who he was effing somebody up in there.
Pretty much. And he looked like he was, he looked like a whole gay dude. Because the way he acted, it was like, girl. Like, you know how like how gay guys talk,
hell
like,
no.
Yeah,
no.
Girl. That's how he talks.
Girl, and I know you did not talk to him.
No, he's my friend. No. Like
okay.
In college, you know how like college, you have like college friends, and he was telling me about like the stories of when he was in jail. Like he always like, oh, I had this, I have a lot of guys because he's Puerto Rican. He was like, oh, most of my friends in jail were black, and this is what it is. So I told him, I said, so you're reformed. You're still a street dude, but you're reformed. You're still street, like you're still a thug, but you're like a reformed thug. Pretty much.
And
you can't change the mentality. It's in the mentality.
Was he able to get a job?
He dropped out of college. He dropped out. Like I graduated. Like this was like when I was in the undergrad. He literally dropped out of college, so he didn't even finish college. So I'm not sure about where he is now. But this was like I'm talking about like this was like when I was like in my early 20s. So he didn't finish his semester because we were in the same psychology class together, and this guy dropped out. So that's what I can say.
And Miss Sincere said in the chat, you shouldn't have to tell a man to wash up. Hell no.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as
you know what I noticed about thugs, Cerebral?
What?
Thugs are always extra nice until you. No, I'm telling you, thugs are always polite. I'm telling you, this is what they do to cover themselves because they know that it's kind of like you spray a cologne on a homeless person. That's the way I see thugs. You're spraying a cologne on a homeless person.
Oh.
You get the metaphor? That's what it is. Because they stink. So they don't take a shower. They just spray cologne to cover up their
and you know how it was so strong you could taste the cologne in your mouth?
Yeah.
Or you could smell it 10 feet away.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
so,
I said,
like I just said before, they don't have a look because somebody that have a suit on could be a reformed thug. And to me, once a guy is a thug, like I'm talking about, they went to jail before a criminal. If a guy says they have a jail record, I don't deal with guys that have a jail record. And the person I ask them is, have you been to jail? And they were like, oh, I just went for a DUI. Okay, what did you do? Oh, I went for this, for that. Oh, I'm sorry. Like, no.
They ain't gonna get no job because they usually don't get hired, especially being black. So that's already a like, nah, baby. And you was in there for a while. Who was you screwing or who screwed you? Stop with the bull crap because I know you did it. They gonna lie. Of course they gonna lie about it. Or they was made into the bee, into the woman, especially if they look good. And your man was Puerto Rican. I already heard.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't my man. But I've actually spoke to, like, when I was in college, I spoke to two Puerto Rican. When you're in college, you have to get the opportunity to meet different people. And I spoke to two Puerto Rican guys, and they were white Puerto Ricans. white. And, you know, they like black women, you know, like he was telling that he was interested in me. And I was just like, honestly, like, you know, no, and both of them went to jail. I'm like, what are you guys doing with your lives? Like, and they were good looking men. They were like really good looking. I'm like, why are you guys wasting your life like just going to jail? And they're like, oh, I just did this. One of them committed a crime. He committed a robbery in the bank. He robbed the bank pretty much. You know, with his friend, and he did 9 years in prison. So I told him, I said, listen, the way you say girl, like, did you get fucked in prison? Like, sorry for my French, like, there's some, you know, because I know a lot of these things are going on in prison. Like, I've never been there, but based on the stories that I've heard, like, I watch YouTube videos on men getting raped in prison. So nobody can tell me like it doesn't happen. You know, because a lot of these men in prison, Cerebral, can I tell you something? There was supposedly, he's not my lawyer anymore, but this guy that I know, he's a lawyer. And he ended up going to prison, and he ended up getting fucked in prison, and he had HIV in prison. He contacted HIV in prison. And now he's a lawyer.
I'm sorry that happened to him. I really think that men, they need to separate, I don't know, anybody who's committed rape, separate them in the prison, get HIV tests in the prison, separate those who have it away from those that don't have it.
Yeah.
You know, I would want.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad, you know. It's kind of sad, but yeah, being a thugs don't have any look, you know. And I also noticed that a lot of the time, most thugs, like, they'll be nice to you in the beginning, and it's in their nature to be aggressive. So in order for them to cover it, they'll be nice to you in the beginning, and then when you start dating them, or when you have a baby for them, or when they marry you, and I noticed that they marry you faster. They marry you very quickly, so you will know how they really are. And once they get you where they really want you to be, they'll just like attack you like full mode. That's the reason why a lot of thugs, like a lot of black women that get killed. If you notice, a lot of their boyfriends or their husbands or their baby fathers, they have been to jail before, and they're not afraid to go back to jail. Yeah. They're not afraid to go back to jail because you know why? They don't have anything to lose. They don't have anything to lose, so they can kill you in a drop of a hat. They don't have anything to lose. Matter of fact, they want to go to jail. But think about it. When they go to jail, they can get free meals. They don't have to pay rent. You know, they get to see their friends. They get to get fucked by their friends.
You know what?
Don't even talk about black men, because a lot of time when they go to jail, they go for they fuck the good looking pretty boys. If you're a white man or you're like a good looking guy, oh trust me, you're gonna get fucked.
I've heard that because they see you as the woman. And a lot of them were gay before they went in there. They talking about they got turned out. Mm-hmm. Nah, they was already doing that. And let me tell you, ladies, one thing I know when a guy's a thug is when he treats you like you're one of his homeboys. He calls you a nigga. I've seen a guy do this to a girl. He said, shut up, nigga. What's up, my nigga? And then she was a straight girl. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Why are you talking to her like that? They talk to you like you're the same as them. They don't understand that women are different. It was one guy, I had to stop talking to him because he said I was too soft. I'm like, what? You're a man. What are you talking about? And I saw the thug traits, and I could not talk to that man. And as far as dressing for the occasion, I remember my mom told me this guy took her out. In certain restaurants, you can't get in unless you wear a suit. And they told him, you can't come in here, you need a suit. So he went down the street to the store and bought him a suit jacket. They have, you got to learn how to dress for certain occasions. And yes, those are some things to look at, especially how they treat you. I am not your homeboy off the street. Don't you talk to me like I'm your damn homeboy, because I'm not. I'm a woman. I'm a lady. So.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I just feel like I also notice sometimes, I'm not speaking for other races of men, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like other races of men, so like when you're a black woman, they have to be like, you're shorty. Don't talk, or what's up, what's good. Don't talk to me like that. Like, and I had to correct one of them, one Puerto Rican guy. He was trying to talk to me. He was like, oh, what's good? I'm like, what does that mean? How about hello, how are you?
Oh. Like, can't he tell how we dress? They can't tell by the way we dress that we're not hood rats?
Yeah, and then when I told him that, he was like, "Oh, you're a good girl. You're one of the good girls, huh?"
Oh.
And I was like, "Listen, can I call you back?" And I blocked him. That was the end of that conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the end of that conversation. Like,
you know,
it kind of made my mouth a little bit sour, so I just blocked him.
Someone had.
And I get turned off very quickly. I get turned off extremely fast. You know, if I'm dating a guy, I can work with certain things, but if you have to talk to me like I'm some kind of hood rat and I never gave you that impression,
thank you.
It's good luck to you.
This is why I was going to do a video. I don't like the so-called wigger types because they think they're so familiar. They think they're familiar with you. Like, honey, like they think they can use certain slang talk that ignorant black men say. And it's like, baby, no, don't try that shit up over here. I don't want it with a black man, and I damn sure don't want it with you.
If they get away with that, I'm sorry, if they get away with that, if you let them get away with that, with the way they talk to you, they're going to start treating you like that, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want no. Listen, if I'm dating, when I date men not black, I'm not looking for another version of a hood black man. Like, nah, it ain't. I don't want that. I don't want the wigger types. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love me some John B. He's not extremely hood. I like him with some flavor sometimes, but I don't want him to act like a stereotypical thuggish black man, toxic, and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. And, you know, I just don't tolerate, it's just, what can we tolerate? And I don't tolerate disrespect, or if you cannot talk to me a certain way, like good morning, or if you have to think you could talk sweet to me supposedly because you have a black friend or a black friend, then you can go fuck your black friends instead of coming to try to fuck me, because this is not going to work. If you want to talk to me like that, then go sleep with your black friends, because some of them, they probably already slept with them anyway. So I'm not surprised. The ones that they be like, oh my friends are black. How much you wanted that to respond? No, because I've had non-black men tell me like, oh, my best friend is black, and I'm looking at him like, you fucking didn't you?
Oh Lord. No, if I see all their friends as black, that's a red flag to me. Not saying you can't have black friends, but if they're like toxic, thuggish types, I'm like, oh, I know who's probably been influencing you. It's like they pick up them traits, and it's like, no. And
sometimes they ask worse. They ask worse at them because they have to prove a point. They have to prove like, I'm down. So I have to. A lot of these wigger types, they ask worse because they have to prove like they want to fit in. So they have to prove like, I'm down. I'm cool. I'm the cool guy. Yeah, black men are cool, so I have to be like this.
Yes.
So sometimes they're worse. So when I hear certain slangs and I don't even correct them anymore. I just be like, you know what? I have to say, what time is it? And I just, that's the end of the conversation.
Now, Happy Mess in the chat says when they call you bruh, that's another sign. If a man calls me bruh, I'm not even talking to you. You're never getting my phone number. It's over. I'm not your bruh. Like, really?
When do you guys get that from, bruh?
Yeah, bruh. Like, you think I'm a bruh like you? Are you crazy? So, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the next call, all right?
Thank you, Cerebral. All right.
Thank you. Nice talking to you, too. Love you, too. All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, okay. Where is this 521512 number? Who are these people? Somebody called? I don't know if I should call this back. This looks a little suspicious. I'm not quite sure. I don't think I'm going to call this one back. What I'm seeing. For some reason, the 512521 number disappeared. Oh, okay. Here it is. 512. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, this is Cerebral.
Hi, this is Mocha Mommy.
Hey, Mocha Mama, girl, you got me scared. This medical center calling up. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I'm calling you from work. I'm sorry.
Okay, I was nervous. Like, what? Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm calling you from my office.
Oh my God, tell us, you're in the medical field? Are you a nurse? Are you a doctor?
Yes, ma'am. I'm a nurse practitioner.
A nurse practitioner. Oh my
in the emergency
God.
room. Yeah, and I'm glad that you're discussing this today because I think that one of the things that we have to discuss, like as women, is just to know that, listen, domestic violence that's happening against Black women, it's not perpetuated by these quote unquote thugs. Okay, it's every woman, every socioeconomic class, every single in every background. So it's not just these thugs, these Black women picking thugs, and that's how they end up domestic violence victims. Listen, there are bankers who are doing this to their wives and children. There are soldiers. There are elected officials who are doing this. So please stop thinking that this is something that only thugs are perpetuating in our community. Listen, a lot of you ladies who have teenage children, like you might have a 16-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old son, right? And she might be watching the other kids, and he's there beating her up, slamming her head up against the wall, trying to get him to do his homework. That's also domestic violence. This is not just a romantic thing. So, ladies, we have to keep our eyes open that domestic violence is not just perpetuated by thugs. So we got to stop with that stereotype.
Okay. It is true. Any man can beat you.
I mean, and it's because we keep thinking like, oh, Black women are choosing these thugs, and that's why they're choosing to enter these situations. No, that's not what's happening out here. That's not what's happening out here. This is happening to girls in. These are happening to girls in school hallways. Okay, these are happening to women who are walking down the street and buying groceries. Listen, this is not just about Black women choosing thugs. Black women are being assaulted everywhere, and we need to make sure that we're having these honest conversations about it.
But you know, these Black men online, they will swear to God that it's, you know, these thugs that's the one who y'all choose. You know, the thug on the street, the guy who went to prison, that's why you're getting beat, because you can't choose the right kind. You know, I don't go to jail. I have a job. I'm a good one.
And see, and that's the problem. How many times are teachers perpetuating this? And then, of course, or licensed medical professionals, right? They're perpetuating this, and the woman's afraid to tell because they don't want the guy to lose their license. That happens too. These are abuse victims too. It's not just these quote-unquote thugs. It's these educated dudes that are beating their wives and girlfriends too, and children too. It's not just something that just these thugs are doing. It's not just these bad choices. And like the woman who called earlier, I was so grateful that she said what she said, that this was a guy who had a job who ended up moving in on her like that, and then ended up beating her when she tried to kick him out. This was not some broke dusty off the street. This is a guy who was gainfully employed. Like, ladies, you guys have got to listen. This is not just something that thugs are doing, and then you guys are over here are victim blaming. No, it's happening to women in all classes. Black women in all classes.
Yes,
brothers beating sisters, uncles beating nieces.
I've known Black women with men who are so-called squares, and I like the squares, but they didn't take care of their kids. They cheated multiple times and made outside kids. They had the same, you know, traits as so-called thugs in the suits.
Right. But this is not just about Black women choosing thugs. What about these adult sons who are beating their moms and grandmas and aunties that they're living with? That's domestic violence too.
Yes.
So stop acting like it's going to dress a certain way, or talk a certain way, or wear a certain hairstyle. You guys have to always be on alert. Always be on alert. Because let me tell you, I'm in this emergency room right now, and I'm seeing it. I'm seeing you guys come in with headaches, and it's really because, you know what, your boyfriend has knocked your head up against the wall. You're seeing these women right here thinking that they want to get LASIK surgery or wear contact lenses and can't because their brothers punched them in the face when they were kids, and now they have broken orbital bones. Listen, it's happening everywhere. It's happening everywhere. So we've got to be vigilant about it and stop acting like it's going to dress a certain way or come in a certain package. And just because someone doesn't call the police, let me tell you something. You see more domestic violence cases in emergency rooms than the police will ever get. So Black women, be on your guard. Be on your guard. Watch out for that girlfriend. Watch out for that sister. Watch out for that niece. Watch out for your adult auntie or grandma, because it could be happening to them too.
I agree. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, and just stop expecting domestic violence to dress a certain way, or talk a certain way, or carry themselves a certain way. Always be vigilant.
I agree. Ow! Ow! Okay. Sorry, I hurt my leg. So,
Oh, sorry.
what exactly? So, what is a thug to you?
I mean, I would guess maybe a hood dude, a street dude, a criminal. But yes, it's true. Like, I'm from Queens, but I'm from like Woodbridge, Queens. Like, we're not from. It's not hood. Like, I'm not from that, and that's never been my experience. And I've never ever. I went to private school most of my life. I graduated from Howard. I never had this
Oh
experience
wow,
of
you
me.
went
Like,
to Howard.
yes, Bison.
Okay.
Yes, I never had this experience with people want to accuse you of that. You know, I served in the military. In the military, it's very common for some of these soldiers, and a lot of times it's some of the higher ranking men who are beating their wives like, oh, well, there's not a lot of black men in this position. If you say that, it's going to make it look bad for the rest of the, it's going to be hard for the rest of the brothers to make it into these type of positions, and their wives are staying silent.
Horrible.
Okay,
So
like ladies, please stay vigilant and please watch out for each other.
I agree. And it kind of makes me sad hearing that. Like as usual, protect the black man at all costs. You know, even if he's whooping your butt. It's sick.
Right?
It's
Yeah.
sickening.
Right.
Someone
Because it's because
so
you would be right, and it'd be sad for me to just kind of go report it. I would have to go report it on the civilian economy when I saw it, because if I did, she would just go right back into that situation. Like, so I would go and report it to civilian agencies, because if I went to the military, there's always, sister, come on, you don't have a lot of brothers in these positions. A lot of brothers, it's hard for brothers to make sergeant major. It's hard for brothers to make it past, make it into the colonel ranks. And why are you going to say something like that? But in reality, it's coming across my emergency room. You know what I mean? I'm in charge here, and they always want to circumvent your authority when it comes to things like this. So ladies, please be on the lookout.
Yes. Now, Auntie, oh no, Kaz 7050 says also a sign of a thug could be tattoos on their neck and hands. I mean, we can't always tell, like you said, but sometimes do you believe there are dead giveaways that he's a hood rat?
I mean, sure, but at the same time, let's be real. Like, women who live in that environment, they have that kind of exposure. But some of the women who don't, like, you're not from that area. The woman who just called you is not from that situation. The woman who called you about her situation, about that man moving in, these were probably gainfully employed people.
Yes.
That are finding themselves being victim or subjected to or in close proximity to domestic violence. You just had 3 women as examples who were probably gainfully employed.
Yes.
And dated somebody who was gainfully employed.
And then he lost his job and then wouldn't move out of her house.
And let me tell you, ladies, the black men are some of the best code switchers in the game. I'm going to let you guys know. They are some of the best code switchers in the game. And the reason why is because they have to survive. It's a survival tactic, so they can survive each other. They have to talk one way to get a job or to get to school, and they have to talk another way to survive in the neighborhood. They're very good code switchers. They're great at fooling you. They have a whole lifetime of practice. Think about some of your best comedians, the Kevin Harts or the Cat Williams. Right? They're short. They have to talk their way out of getting beat up. That's why they're so good at being able to talk game on you. They had a lifetime of practice, even before they even started dating.
I agree.
So, ladies, please don't believe what's being said. Do not think that this is something that's just a type. Please, ladies, protect yourselves and look out for one another.
Yes, I agree. And it's fair to say that you do not like thugs.
Right? How many thugs are in private schools? Like, how many? What?
Yeah, there's no appeal to a man probably will never have a career because of his lifestyle of being a thug. It just makes sense. Like with women who do date them, when I see women with men with their pants sagging and stuff and they don't work, I'm like, what's wrong with you as a woman? You know damn well he can't get no job. He can't hold on to a job. He pays child support for like 3 different women. What do you want with this guy? I mean, seriously. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, a lot of it has to do with their own self-esteem or their own ideas about, shortage mindsets. And of course, I mean, think about it. I lived in New York and then went to an HBCU, so I had a shortage mindset. If you think about it, like, I didn't think that it would ever happen to me. I didn't think I'd ever get married because I didn't have a boyfriend all the way through high school or all the way through college. You had black women outnumbering black men like 9-1 on a lot of these HBCU campuses. Right? So I never thought I'd get a boyfriend. I swear it wasn't until I got to my first duty station in the military till I realized, like, what?
Now, hold
There's
on.
a whole world of men out here.
When you thought you wouldn't have a man, were you
Right.
only dating and interested in black men at that time?
Well, I mean, that's who I was, like, around. I was around other, like, middle-class black people.
And
Like, in certain parts of Queens, it's mostly middle-class black people. And when I went to Howard, it was middle-class black people.
So I know there was a shortage, but the black men that were there, were they interested in black women?
I mean, yeah, some of them were. But at the same time, they knew that the ratio favored them. So if you had, like, a certain value system, like, why would they bother to date a girl who has a certain value system versus the fact that that you're outnumbered 9-1? Like, so of course, a lot of them, listen, these educated ladies, please don't think that they have all this integrity. Because listen, I mean, all of my sisters out there who are part of Divine Nine, you guys know good and well that some of these Kappa Alpha Psi's, Omega Psi Phi, they're the same quote unquote fuck boys that these hood dudes are. Because they can.
Yes.
So stop thinking that it's an economic status. It's a cultural problem that we have.
A mentality, and yes. I said that. Like I said before, when the men attacked me, I said, look, I don't like a lot of your culture. I never said some of y'all ain't cute and all that. I said it's the culture thing, especially when it comes to women, how they view women. So thank you so much for your call, and I'm going to take one last call.
All right, thank you.
Bye. Okay, I am taking one final call. I'm calling this person back. Give me a second. Okay. Give me a quick little second. 614 number. Final call of the night. Hello, hi. This is yes, it is. It's Cerebral. Hello, I'm fine. How are you?
I can't complain. I have thoroughly enjoyed just listening to your. First of all, I'm a little nervous.
Don't be.
Thoroughly have enjoyed listening to your commentary and all of the people who have chimed in. So I think the topic that you have tonight is very good.
Thank you so much. I wanted to address this because I'm tired of the stereotype that all black women want thugs from these men. And I said, let the black women speak, damn it. I want to know, do you like thugs, and what is a thug to you?
Well, first and foremost, I do have to say, Mocha Mama was dropping straight bombs there. And she's been dropping straight bombs in the chat, along with a lot of people. So want to shout out to, the chat, Mocha Mama. My mind is not remembering most of the, names and what have you, but the chat has been on fire, but in a positive way, and getting rid of, the detractors, the male dusties that have found their way in the chat. Thank you so much. So want to get that out the way. But I am not attracted to thugs. And I know that several of the ladies who have talked about this topic with you, a lot of them said that, thugs come in different forms, shapes, disguises. They're not always in the, quintessential braids, jerseys, the gaudy throwback jerseys or snapback hats or Jordans, but they can also be disguised in suits, ties, button downs, and have, means of income. But no, I am definitely not into the thug life. No, because thug life gets you to death life.
Okay, and tell us how.
Well, if we think in terms of, let's just kind of go with the thing here, the quintessential quote unquote thug. Being a ride or die chick, that die part is the biggest part of being a ride or die chick. Because if death does not become you via, a bad drug bust or accident or getting shot up, that die part of being a ride or die chick comes with your value of life dies. Being with these sort of types of males, trying to hold it down for your man. It can get you in all types of trouble, all types of distasteful, disgraceful, situations in life that can devalue your means and quality of life.
A lot of women, I'm like, dating men who have these jail records who can't get a job, you'll never live in suburbia. You'll never experience more because they usually can't get more. They just drag you down. A lot of black women are in jail because they were trafficking drugs for their man.
Exactly. In the conversation that you were having with one of the young ladies who called in regards to you and, her were having such a great discourse about, that prison life. And that is often kind of swept under the rug when, that whole thug life mentality is touted and celebrated. Just let's be real. And you said that earlier, Cerebral, in talking about, that jailhouse prison lifestyle. No one talks about that. And no one talks about how that is a direct correlation, not the only, but a direct correlation between the high HIV rate among Black women. But then again, thug life, that thug mentality is celebrated, unfortunately, within the Black community. No one talks about that fact of thug life.
I know,
no one talks about that.
Any woman celebrating, yeah, he just got out of jail. Yeah, he was in there for 10 years. I'm like, fool, do you know what he probably did? Are you crazy? Like, that never crossed your mind? Really?
That never, And I think, a lot of, I just want to say young women, but women in general, we're so taught to be nurturers, to be givers, to give people second, third chances, but never to give chances to put your life on the line. Oh no, and that is what it will cost you dealing with a thug, whether it be a thug who just got out of prison, a thug out on the corner, a thug just kind of walking around at the gas station. My last trip to the gas station, I was telling a family member, was like walking in an episode of The Walking Dead. Every dust bowl imaginable was there. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is why I don't go into the gas station. But I digress, because I do want to stay on point for your callers or, for the people chiming in and for yourself. But for me and those around me, no thugs, please.
No. And I don't like seeing the thug look, a man who's getting up there in age and you still dressing looking like a thug. That is not cute at all to me.
That is not cute.
So
it's not, and it's a big part of mentality. A lot of the women who called in spoke of, there's thugs disguised in suits. There's thugs, disguised as nerds. Being a thug is a mentality. And as one caller said that you were having another excellent conversation with, a thug is a virus among its community, and being a thug is a mentality. You have Trick Daddy and you have Trump. Yes, there are some obvious differences, but in terms of mentality and moral compunction, there's no difference between Trick Daddy and Trump. I'm just saying. So, yes.
Well, I don't know. When I think of that, I get it, but I probably would still roll with a Trump over a Trick Daddy. But,
yes.
So
I hear you.
You
yes.
cleared it up. There's really not always a look to it. And do you like them? Do you want a thug? Do you like thugs?
No, I mean, even, coming up in college, in high school, a lot of the women who called previously, I saw some similarities within, their backgrounds and, and upbringing. And I'm not saying that it is a quote unquote upbringing type of lifestyle that people affix to, but it can be. But in terms of myself, that was never a goal. That was never, kind of, looking at the rap videos and listening to the songs or what have you. It was fun to kind of think about, but to actually have one come after me or go after one, oh no, because you think about, well, what is my future going to look like? I'm trying to get through college. I know for myself, going through undergrad, then going to graduate school, and then getting married at that time. No, that was not something that I aspire to be with.
Okay.
Not at all.
All right. So thank you for clearing this all up and dropping the gems of knowledge. And thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you, and thank you for having this channel and the opportunity for women of like mind to speak on certain issues.
Thank
Keep up
you.
the good work. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, so that is it for the night. Wonderful calls as usual. Love to hear the people speak. Okay, a lot of the black women, this was for you for tonight. I might have another part 2 to this because, damn it, I want y'all to speak instead of people always trying to speak for you. So before I leave this, I will answer these questions myself as well. Do I like thugs? No. If I see thug traits, I'm turned off. What is a thug? To me, I assume it is a man who usually does illegal activity, who has a jail record. Who do they have a look? Yes and no. Even sagging the pants, fitted cap constantly, tattoos everywhere. The look. Sometimes, yes, there is a look to it. Even if he isn't a thug, looking like that hinders them in life. Let's just keep it real. I do not date men with cornrows. I do not like to date men with long dreadlocks. It's feminine to me. Even though I have seen very attractive men with long dreadlocks, I will keep it real. But I have evolved in my thinking and I realized a lot with that. And a thug, a lot of times they have a record or they get in trouble. They are abusive. They treat women like they're the same gender as them. And there's nothing appealing about dating a guy you know probably will never have a career because he has these jail records and he doesn't want one because he's so damn ignorant, a number of them. And they can't speak correctly. They might not be able to read. Their whole language is ebonics or slang talk. Straight up hood rats. They love fronts like I have up here. That's just sort of more of the stereotypical thing of a thug, but sometimes stereotypes are true. Yes, a thug can be a man in a suit as well, have those traits like abandoning children, having 5 different baby mamas put on child support, um, a similar mentality. So, no, I do not like thugs. I've always been attracted to regular type of guys. Yeah, I like a man with, they say the swag. I never use that word, but confidence is always very attractive to any woman. I don't like the overly aggressive or too conceited confidence type of thing. That can be kind of irritating. But, Russell Wilson is a normal type of man to me, and he exudes masculinity as well. And no, so no, I do not like thugs. Do they have a look? Sometimes they do. Let's just keep it real. Even if he isn't one, where does he work sagging his pants with neck tattoos, long hair, and cannot speak correctly? Let's just use our sense on this, okay? So, can they be good men? Sometimes. Can they be bad? Yes, as well. I am going to have another live where I will say the real reason why some young black women, especially, are attracted to what's considered to be a thug. There are actually some deep reasons as to why, and I will say why I think this is. So I hope you all love this live. Thank you all for the support, and good night, everyone. Bye. And thank you for the donations.